They were my best friends growing up.
The black can.
I didn't want to leave the hotel. I was scared.
Meanwhile, you think it smelled like straight horse booty, bro. That's Welcome to Tabletop Topics. I'm your host, Jeff.
And of course, Jeff.
All right, we can take this
All right,
off.
this just crazy.
This is nuts.
All right.
All right.
Welcome, guys, to our Halloween episode.
Welcome. Woo! So, today we have a returning guest.
And a new special guest.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I feel like you should
Our
go
new
first.
special
Yeah,
guest.
go first.
Hi, I'm Julianna.
Nice to meet you, Juliana. And Brooke.
No,
It's good
I'm
to
Jeff. Everybody
Okay,
remember
all right,
me.
you're Jeff.
Yeah, no, I'm Brooke. I came back.
Glad you're back
Didn't
again.
run me away. Speaking of serial killers, Jeff and Jeff are not serial killers.
Yes,
Everyone always.
it has been debunked.
Well, it's because we're out here in the middle of
I think the thing is,
nowhere, man.
I think the thing,
That is not the reason.
I think the thing is, we're out. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But then we made this room to make you guys feel comfortable.
Until
So that's why the
That's
tarp's on
something
the
a
ground.
serial
The
killer
tarp.
would say, Jeff.
It got real quiet.
That's something a serial killer would say. Yeah, I made it
Honestly,
nice and
no.
comfortable for you.
You gotta change that voice to just your laugh, and then you gotta do that.
Yeah, we gotta clip your voice in there.
We do.
Yeah,
All
sample
right.
your voice. Yeah, I think your laugh hits.
All
a
right,
lot
guys.
better. Your laugh hits a lot better.
All right.
All right, so let's catch up. So, how did y'all fare during the hurricane?
I'm good. So
You good?
I
You're
went.
solid.
I went closer to the hurricane. I went to Port Charlotte.
Oh, word.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got
That-
family in Port Charlotte, so we went to Port Charlotte. Kept an eye out on my boyfriend's grandmother.
Mhm.
She's fine. We only had a few broken windows, nothing too bad. We were able
Okay.
to manage pretty well. Was terrified coming home because there was no news on my apartment complex.
That's tough.
No signal, no power.
Nothing. So took the drive home, with limited gas, an hour drive.
Damn.
Got home on the second day, and our apartment was like brand new. It was perfectly fine. No flooding. We're on the first floor, right next to trees. We're right by the water. No flooding.
No flooding.
Nothing.
Oh, that's nuts.
Everywhere around the complex is messed up, but
Mhm.
the complex itself perfectly fine. Our store, unfortunately,
Mhm.
went down, but
unfortunately.
Everybody was happy.
look, I was
Motherfucker
not.
danced on the ashes.
Yeah, but I was not
What the hell?
happy having to
Shit.
clean out all
They-
that food.
Shit.
Oh, you had to go in too, right?
Oh yeah.
You went in too?
Mhm.
Oh my goodness.
But she actually, remember when I told you we had to unload the 4 trucks? She helped us do 2 of them. It
Yeah.
was fucking insane.
I was the last associate there.
hmm
Damn.
And I'm like, you can go if you want to. You don't have to stay. She's like, nah, I can't do that.
No, I specifically said, I can't do that. You wouldn't do that. Matt wouldn't do that. Matt's my manager, everybody. I was like, unfortunately, I'm a good person. I have to, stick with it.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And what about you? How did you fare?
We did pretty good. We lost power for 24 hours, and then
Damn.
it took about 3 or 4 days for us to get our water back. But other than that, we did really good.
That's
Wow,
lucky.
24 hours.
Yeah.
That's
That
nuts.
sounds like when
Are you guys
someone-
kidding me right now?
Yeah.
It took me 4 days to get power.
It took me 3.
And it took
That's
me
pretty
a
bad.
week to get water.
Irma took us 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Nah, that was tough. That was, bro, the floorboards were peeling, the ceiling was cracking. It was bad.
Here?
Because it was hot.
No, this is brand new.
No.
Oh,
This
okay.
is his crib. This is when we're staying at our mom's
Yeah.
place. We're
Oh,
living
okay.
at our mom's place, yeah. But that one was pretty nuts. Did y'all get a chance to kind of survey the beaches and see all
Yeah.
that?
It's really fucking
That's
devastating.
Crazy.
The pictures don't even do it
No.
justice. It's
No, it
very
doesn't.
sad driving out there.
Well,
Not at
Do you
all.
guys know Junkanoo's?
No.
Where's
It's
that
like
at?
a food place on the beach, just completely cleared out. There's no building even there.
Was it a mom and
saw the
pop or
picture.
was it just a
I
regular
think it was
business?
like a beach bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a beach bar.
Wow.
It's just really sad because I know the beach has a lot of memories for everyone.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That was old Florida. That was the last bit of old
That's the
Florida.
last thing to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like downtown Fort Myers though. I don't know how bad
Yeah.
that
I
got
went to
hit.
downtown.
Is it good?
I went through there today to get here.
Downtown is bad.
It's
Oh, yeah?
bad. I
But
was
it's not.
impressed by how good it looks right now.
Right.
Yeah, because you still have boats on top of each
Mhm.
other and
Yeah,
all
you
that stuff
still-
like that,
you
but it's
still
not
got
that
boats. most people cleared out the debris because there's a bunch of shops there.
Mhm.
Inside the shops, you can tell is probably really bad. You can't see much. It's just shops right now, but nobody's open. I think there was like 2 or 3 restaurants that were open downtown. So, yeah.
So I didn't know this. Actually, the mayor of Fort Myers Beach. I didn't know Fort Myers Beach was like separate from Fort Myers.
I did not either.
Yeah, like they have their own
It's like a
chamber.
Punta Gorda thing.
Yeah, like they have their own chamber of commerce. They're thinking about selling it to Lee County, like because they don't.
Because they got a loan
They're like, this is
to build,
rough.
and then everything got washed
Right.
away.
Yeah, because they just recently started building new shit out there, and.
Yeah, they got that Margaritaville going
Yeah,
on.
Margaritaville was like untouched. I was very shocked.
Oh word! Oh wow!
Because it was just built. It was
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
they got that.
concrete, yeah.
It's up the code. That's what it is.
Every
They got
other
that
building's
new
like
shit,
super
yeah.
old.
Like ancient as
If
hell.
Margaritaville was smart, they'd buy out everything.
Yeah, but like as
It'd
a
be
local,
like a little
I'd hate that.
town. Oh my
It-
god, the money they would get from that place.
Yeah.
That's the most big corp shit ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Buy out all the mom and pop shit. But I know during that, like this is the last I'll touch upon it. But my boys in the group snap, someone who was living right on the beach, was actually taking video of the water coming in
I
and
saw
just
that.
like washing everything.
You're seeing like buildings move.
move. That shit was crazy.
The people who did survive thought for sure they were gonna die.
Oh yeah.
It's sad.
I saw this crazy one where they actually found a guy just laying under the debris, like 2 or 3 days after, and they just pulled him out, and the guy was still alive.
There's
What?
actually there's a crazy story about a
Damn.
young girl who like I think lasted like 9 days underwater. I don't think she survived it. But yeah,
Damn.
like it was just I think her head or something. But yeah, you guys should check that out. Like,
I'd be
you know,
bloated
I
as
don't
hell.
know
I'd
if
be
I wanna be
wrinkly
sad
as shit.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, because like obviously they'd have to like amputate her lower half of the body that was stuck.
Of
because,
course,
Like,
she was there for that long. So her top half was up,
Yeah.
or the bottom
I
half
don't
was
remember
underwater.
all the specifics, but basically she was living in like a village that had a landslide or like a volcano eruption or something. House came down. I'm pretty sure like her family was under the rubble and was like gone, and she was like just above the water. She was trapped, and it was like such a heavy like log or concrete or whatever that they were like there's really no way to get her out.
Right.
So for days they would just try to like feed her and soothe her and like try to figure it out. And I don't remember how it ends. You guys should look it up. Unfortunately, I don't think it ends well. But yeah, it's crazy what people can go through.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. That's that fight or flight that takes over. That should have keep you going. That should have keep you going. So I see the costumes today.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you consider this a go.
Yeah, I think so. Can you do the pose for the camera? Hopefully the audience
I
can
had to
figure it
stand
out.
up.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I mean, she knows who Arthur is, but does her generation know who Arthur is?
Obviously.
Can't see it.
Do the fist.
The face. Oh yeah. the famous meme.
The famous
It's like
meme.
she's like flexing.
For those who don't know, that's Arthur.
Arthur the Aardvark.
Arthur the Aardvark. PBS.
Those
Kind
things
of-
are massive, by the way. You ever seen how big a aardvark is?
Don't they look like armadillos or some shit?
They're massive.
Are they in North America? Or aardvarks?
No, I don't think so.
No? It's like a foreign type animal? Come from overseas?
You remember the old books that they used to have in elementary school before they changed Arthur and got rid of his nose? Like the first book ever that came out.
I think that was...
That had his big ass.
that had
had
his
his
big
big
ass
nose. They were
nose.
making fun of his nose because it was long.
Bro, what happened to body positivity, man? What the fuck is that?
That didn't exist in the
Like, they
90s.
gave Arthur a nose job at like 5 years old.
Yeah,
That's
well,
crazy.
he's an aardvark.
That's fucking
Oh
crazy.
shit!
man.
At that point, he just looked like a panda with a flat nose.
Yo, pandas are massive, by the way.
Panda?
Yeah, we got like panda bears and like these tiny little things, and then there's these giant pandas that are like 7, 8. They're like a Jeff-sized panda. They're bigger. If you ever seen Anchorman when he falls into the bear cage and then starts to get cuddled by the bear, that's like what Jeff could happen. Like could happen to Jeff with a panda.
Hell no.
The bamboo they're eating is a giant tree, and they're just like ripping it apart. It's
Oh
insane.
my god!
Nuts. And they like start off like the size of my pinky.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise
Like
me.
these little jelly
crazy.
bean looking things. All right, let's get spooky. All right, we gotta cut that.
Yeah,
pretty
that's fucking long,
Holy
bro.
crap.
Yeah, damn.
But Jeff, you brought up a topic earlier about
Serial killers.
Serial killers.
Boom, boom, boom.
I just I'm not really fascinated with serial killers. Documentaries interest me, like the new Dahmer that came out on Netflix, 8-episode series.
Did you watch
10.
it?
I don't
Oh,
like it.
10.
You don't like
I
it?
didn't like it.
Wow.
Did they
We'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. So I kind of notice like watching some of the documentaries of serial killers. There's a lot of women that have a fetish or
An erotic fascination.
an erotic
There's
fascination
like a
for
term
certain.
for it.
Yeah, like even when you're watching the old documentaries on the videos, you'll see nothing but women screaming at like they're at a boy band concert because they love these serial killers and they know everything about them. Like Julie's one of them.
Yeah.
Julie knows everything about fucking serial killers.
I think
Listen, I
Yeah.
don't know that much.
I do know
our sister
almost
Julie.
everything.
Our
So
sister Julie.
I'll be straight up. I know everything.
You do know.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Well, no.
Oh, well, you're included.
You're
too,
included
you know?
too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a pair.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So my
Absolutely.
question to the both of you guys is why are women? I'm not gonna say the majority, but why are some women so fascinated or attracted to by serial killers?
I wouldn't say like I'm attracted or anything,
Uh-huh.
but I think it comes down to I'm interested in knowing if it is, are you born with it or do you develop this?
This is like
And
a-
it's not just like male serial killers,
Mhm.
it's like women who kill too. I feel like women kill for a purpose.
Gotcha.
Women kill because they got cheated on or they got raped. They have an actual purpose to be killing where like if you hear their story you're like, okay,
There's
I
no-
understand.
Right.
Yeah, like
where
what's the name of that
men-
female that murdered guys?
Eileen
Because she
Wuornos.
got raped.
Yeah. So, but she's the only serial killer that I know
That's a woman.
that's a woman compared
Yeah.
to everybody else.
Man,
Yeah,
right.
women kill for like cheating pretty much. It's,
Like,
the
they're
biggest
crimes of
one.
passion.
Yeah,
to a certain
passion
extent.
crimes.
Right.
Where I feel like men
It's like illogical. Or
men have like literally a screw loose in them that makes them like go off.
Some men.
Some men.
Does it feel
Not
like
all of us.
It does feel like all men sometimes. But
Yeah.
Questionable.
She said questionable.
I think every guy has
No, every guy does have the capacity to
Right.
potentially kill somebody. It just all depends on what
the trigger is.
what the trigger is
Right.
exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, like the way I see it is, I do like to make that distinction of there's people that enjoy true crime
Mhm.
and there's people that take that. I mean, it already, I guess, in some cases is too far. There's a lot of people that think you shouldn't glorify true crime in that way, where you like
Mhm.
talk about the cases, because a lot of times they don't focus so much on the victims. For example, like nobody can name Jeffrey Dahmer's victims. You only name Jeffrey Dahmer because he's the one that gets glorified. So there's talks about like how that's wrong, how you shouldn't glorify that and you should focus more on the victims if the victims' families are comfortable with it.
Right.
I take the route of like, I don't mind true crime, A, because I'm a fan, and B, because as a woman, like, you have to know everything.
Yeah, you need to know this
You
shit.
do not learn to lock your car as soon as you get in and to unlock it as soon as you get to the car and check your back seat. You don't learn all of those things because your parents tell you. They don't. You learn it because you're afraid, another girl tells you, or because you're listening to true crime and you watch or you listen or you know what happens to somebody else. But in terms of women fetishizing men, I think a lot of it is just that men are the primary serial killers.
That's right.
You don't see a lot of women serial killers, and they do get fetishized to a certain extent. Like, you're not going to tell me Eileen Wuornos didn't have men that were fetishizing her, but
Yeah.
most of the time, men are going to be glorified, and that could be because of daddy issues. That could be because of 1,000 things. Also, men tend to back off of women when they realize or when they think that they're equal to them. And if a woman's willing to kill a man or kill a person, and you're not willing to kill a person, you're immediately going to submit and might not be so attracted to them. But in terms of like women, like I know a bit more female serial killers. A lot of times you'll see it in like olden days of like killing babies, or like Bailey Sarian.
Damn, your eyeballs going huge when you
Yeah.
heard that.
For example, I don't
Holy
think I'll be able to
shit.
pull it. I don't think I'll be able to pull it up. But Bailey Sarian, shout out Murder Mystery Makeup, just came out with a recent one about a girl who was killing her siblings and like kids that she was babysitting.
Holy shit.
Wow.
She says it's because her brother died because of sudden infant death syndrome, but her brother was like over the age of 1. And at that point, it's almost no chance of getting that.
I'm getting that, right.
So they think she might have done it. It was Helen Patricia Moore. She killed, I think, 3 kids, didn't kill 2 of them, and she was like 15.
Wow.
So, like,
Holy shit.
there are female serial killers. I wouldn't necessarily say, like,
They're just
there's
not
always
as prominent
a purpose, but I do think it can be like a crime of passion. I think men are fascinating, because they always take center stage over women.
I feel like men are like serial killers because they have to take ownership.
Yeah.
But do you think it's overboard when a female says, "Well, I wish he can,
100%.
he can do it to me," and it's like,
I'm sorry, what?
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you haven't seen
yeah.
the actual documentaries when they're taking not Jeffrey Dahmer, but
Ted Bundy?
Ted
Ted
Bundy
Bundy
to jail, and all the women are screaming, "Oh my god, I wish he can do it." I'm like, what?
You see a lot of serial killers that
Yeah,
have,
they
like,
Pick me,
like,
girls.
Yeah,
Seventies.
like, they have fanatics and shit. Who's the guy with the cross on his
Manson.
Manson? Like,
I'm
bro,
I'm telling you,
I'm like,
this man had a whole harem of women like
Yeah.
going to bat for him. Like,
well,
that's
you know the lady that used to do Murder, She Wrote, Jessica
Yes.
Lange? Her daughter was almost going to be like a follower of Manson. I keep saying Marilyn Manson. Of Manson. Of Charlie Manson. She like met him, thought he was charismatic, and like Jessica Lange did not like mess with it. I don't think it's Jessica Lange. That's the lady from American Horror Story. But the lady from Murder, She Wrote, she moved her entire family to like Ireland because she did
Wow.
not want her daughter with this man, and it turned out to be Charles Manson.
Wow.
Yeah.
wow.
So I do agree with her. I think it's an ownership thing. I think men in every form of life always take center stage to women and other, genders. And I think it's, I have a degree in psychology. That doesn't mean I can say anything about it. But one of the things that we talked about in class is that like every measure of tests, like your basically your psychopath test, I think it's called PCP test, is measured and tested against men. It's never tested against women. So you can see a woman psychopath who has completely different tendencies than men, and you would never know. So I find it fascinating that there's possibly a lot more women out there that are killing people.
Is it because they're good at masking?
It could be masking. It could be
Well,
you just never suspect.
everyone thinks that like females are like softer and we
Yeah.
care more.
It's
You don't
not
expect
as
it
right,
from a woman.
right?
Because if a woman walks up to you, you're not going to go in defense
Right.
mode as a male.
'Cause,
But
like-
if a man were to walk up to you, we're
You're immediately defensive.
immediately
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because
Well,
you
not
don't
even
know.
Even with
that.
men and men. Go ahead.
A woman loses it, oh, she's being a bitch. You know?
Right.
Where like a man loses it, you're like, oh my god, he's gonna like
Right.
he's gonna flip out, he's
Well,
gonna
of
hurt
course, yeah.
someone. So
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if you were to walk up to me on the street and I didn't know who you guys were, I would. My guard would not be up.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not to,
It's-
and it's not to say that it's a sexist thing. It's just that's just how I am.
Even with other men, I'm just like,
Like I
It's-
think,
yeah,
I
like-
think, and that's the
It's
thing
like,
is, I
this
think
is-
like
you might say
when-
hi to me. I'm still in defense mode.
I think the thing is like when you're, and I don't know because I'm not a man, but I think when you're a man, you're not
you are
taught
the
to do those.
protector.
Talking about how we
I
gotta
know,
have our
man. Look at
phones
this
on
guy.
silent.
look at this guy.
I thought it was on silent.
I feel like as a man you're like taught to be the protector.
Right.
So
Or,
like
like-
another
Exactly.
man
Yeah.
comes up, then you're in defense mode where like a woman comes up, you're taught to protect a woman.
Exactly.
Yeah, or like on the same.
And that's
front.
why I feel like you guys are more dangerous because if you were
Oh, yeah. I
a
think
serial
women are-
killer,
I mean,
I think
hang
women
on,
are-
hang
Could
on.
be more
I think we're
dangerous
Yes,
if we
I'm like,
wanted
if you
to
want
be.
to talk about more
If
dangerous.
y'all exercise, like, because it's not overt danger where you can see it. Like,
yeah,
It's like
you
it's
can be like, "Hi, how you doing?" Pull out a
Absolutely.
knife and then
Yeah!
not
Exactly.
even, or like, how many times you've heard where like the wife will slowly poison the husband every day, make
Yes.
him coffee, put borax,
That's,
put
there's a
cleaning
lot of women
solution.
that did that.
Always, and it's so unsuspecting.
No,
Exactly.
there's a woman, shout out Avengers. There's a woman called like the Black Widow because that's what she would do.
Wow.
She was buying arsenic, which by the way, if you can smell almonds, it smells like
It
almonds.
smells like almonds. Yeah.
Yep.
But she was buying arsenic and she
Well,
was
I'm
putting it
dead.
in their food and stuff like that.
I'm really
She killed
dead.
like her husbands, her kids, and it was because she needed like the attention of being the widower, but also wanted the money.
What the fuck?
That's nuts. So like with, because you mentioned women serial killers. I
Mhm.
have no idea.
No, because
Okay.
they're not prominent,
Like,
except for the one that
What difference in their
psychology.
process of taking their victims' lives that I would assume is different from men,
Yeah.
being that with men they usually search out for a victim. They usually go outside of the home and find their victims, whereas like a woman would essentially
Stay
it's
inside the
it's meticulous.
Right.
It's quiet. It's subtle. It's not like
am
in
I kind
everybody's
of along
view.
the right lines? Like with
Well, whenever we talk about Eileen, I don't know that much about her, but she did it because she got raped. So she's searching out the people who hurt her.
Yeah.
Where men usually are
Are-
searching out someone who is similar to someone who's hurt them in the past. So they're
And then
they're punishing someone that looks like someone who hurt them in the past.
do you think it's mother issues or not having the father in the home?
Both. Sometimes it's a mixture of both, or it's one or the other.
I also think it's like it is a nature thing too. Like it is an issue with the psychology, like just the way you're born and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, if you, not to say I know everything, but if you have like an abusive dad, or like, okay, for example, like I have an alcoholic father. I naturally, with nothing else going on, have a 50% more chance of being addicted to any substance, specifically alcohol, than like if you don't have one, you'll have, however the chances are, mine's 50 times more that, just because I was born from a father that then became an alcoholic.
And then your kids are
And I don't know
prominent.
if that's like a nature thing or if it's because I grew up watching him, but it could be like his family also were alcoholics. So it's kind of like it could be a nature thing, but it could be a nurture that turns into nature, because no matter what, now I have that 50% chance of going one way or the
Can you
other.
break that down for her? I always kind of flip flop on the
Of nature and nurtures?
versus nurture.
So like,
right.
for example, I know serial killers. I don't know everything. So I'm speaking on my ass here for anybody listening. But so if I say something wrong, kill Jeff, not me.
Yes.
Pick one.
Right?
Pick
It's our-
one. You can pick whichever one.
Yep. Get the
So-
darker one.
You really narrowed it down there.
Yeah, you made it pretty easy.
Right?
So, for example, like Ted Bundy technically had no issues.
Right.
Technically, there was nothing wrong nature-wise with him. I think they said like there was a few times where he was exposed to pornography at a young age, and he increasingly started to look at more like BDSM pornography. But his parents were loving. His parents were good. Were at least there was talks of his dad. There was talks of his dad possibly being abusive. He said that. Nobody else in the family said he was.
Right.
And you know, families cover up. But
Yeah, that's true.
when you're a serial killer, I don't think you're covering up much after
Much,
that.
right.
So stuff like that. On the same end, you can look at like Jeffrey Dahmer. His dad definitely, like, I'm going to say I don't think his dad helped.
You feel
He
like
definitely did not.
No.
I feel like Jeffrey Dahmer, he was born with a problem. But I think if he was nurtured the right way, he wouldn't have become a killer. Because, like, he just wanted someone to stay and love him. He didn't want anyone to ever leave because
also
he
wanted to
had,
keep
like, his dad walking out on him. And, like, whenever he did kill, there were, like, two people where, like, you could tell he really regretted it. He's like, oh my god, what did I just do? And, like, freaked out.
Oh wow. Was that like kind of his first victims, or did
His
that kind of?
first victim, and then I think there was one person he really loved.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like,
he had a
from-
deaf victim that he like was dating for a while.
that's the one that slept with cadavers after they died?
No, that
Dead
was
bodies?
No, he ate bodies.
Well, that was
Ted
Bundy.
Bundy.
Yeah.
He
Necrophilia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I agree with her that I think like Dahmer had issues from the onset. I think, you know, if you watch the show, and the reason I'm not the biggest fan of the show is like, I know that story. I've heard it 1,000 times. You hear the Ted Bundy story 1,000 times when you're into true crime. So it's kind of like, not to be, I guess, what's the word, like, unsensitive or insensitive. It's old news to me. I care about the victims. I care that, like, you know, they get what was right for them.
Yeah.
And there's victims' families who said they didn't want that show to happen. And now Jeffrey Dahmer's dad is considering suing Netflix for creating the movie, even though he's doing it because he could get the money from it, when it should go to the victims. So that's why I'm kind of like, I love Evan Peters. I don't care about the show, and I watched 9 episodes. You know, I was a part of the machine, but I didn't like it. But with that being said, I think his dad obviously had something to do with it, in the sense of like, if your kid's telling you, hey, I have issues, I feel a certain way, he's gotten arrested, he's doing weird things, you know he's doing weird things, and he tells you, like,
Just shut the fuck up and
something's
listen
wrong.
to your kid.
What is it? What
But
do
again,
y'all tell
too.
them?
But again, too. They didn't.
Man up.
Yeah, but again, too. They
Man up, bro.
But they also weren't like, okay, now here's how you eat a person.
Yeah.
You know, or
Oh, that's
you know,
nuts.
nobody said, okay, now take this thing that I taught you about preserving animals and now
Yeah.
use it on like a black boy
Yeah.
to preserve him.
Yeah.
And
Oh, wow.
you know, I'm gonna go target black people specifically because that's the cheaper part of town. No, it's because nobody's gonna question
No
it.
one's gonna
Yeah.
question
You shouldn't
it,
do that.
right.
So that's on him. That's kind of where I think, and
That's
it's not maybe the
sketch.
greatest example,
Mhm.
but that's that nature versus nurture of like, a lot of people think you can become, I think it's the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath. You can become a sociopath because of your social cues and like what
Psychopath,
you
you're born.
grow.
With. You're born.
And then you can be a psychopath. Ted Bundy's a psychopath. He scores high on the psychopath test because he's just like, yeah, that's totally normal. He's void of emotion. He thinks like nobody can touch him. I mean, he escaped prison and then went and
Twice.
murdered
Hey,
a sorority.
bro,
Twice.
That's crazy. Twice, man. So, like, do you ever think that some of these serial killers, like, if they were to be evaluated again, would some of them kind of land on the spectrum?
Yeah, but they didn't believe in mental health back in the day.
Like, in terms
Like
of
you said, man up.
Asperger's, autism, you know.
ADHD.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you
ADD.
because at the same, you know, it's. I think it's a really. I know people care because they want to know because mental health wasn't pushed.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think it's a very easy cop out too to say, oh, they're on the spectrum, so we just have to look at people on the spectrum. I think unfortunately the world is too complicated and too
Nuance.
gray
Right.
for us to say, okay, as long as, and not to be against you guys obviously are like the second worst at it, but I can't be like me and Juliana only have to worry about people on the spectrum. You and Jeff don't have to only worry about people with Asperger's. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
That's facts. Wow.
Yeah, because I mean, look at how many men. I mean, if you look at the Watts family, he murdered his family so he could be with another woman. And there's
Yeah, I
the idea,
remember that.
There's a family annihilator.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they have like a new concept called a family annihilator who just kills their family because of financial issues.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Yeah, that's like a new thing. It's
Just to
called
start all
family
over?
Annihilate. Yeah, it's to start
That
over.
happened in like the neighborhood next to mine. This guy lost his job and then he killed his wife and his kids and then killed himself.
You really just kind of threw that out there like it was no big deal.
Yo,
nope.
that's not. You're in the neighborhood?
Like the neighborhood next to where I grew up. And then,
Oh, okay. I was about to say, you still live there?
No.
Okay.
the whole area's hexed. No.
To make things worse,
Indian burial
finally
ground
after,
type shit.
Finally, after like 4 or 5 years, a family moved in, and everyone was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah,
they
no.
moved in."
In that house?
Yeah, they were like,
No.
"What are
Condemned.
they thinking?" And then I
We
think,
saw The Conjuring.
You burned that shit down.
I think my
Ouija.
dad finally was like, "Hey, you guys like know about that house, right?" And they said that they didn't find out until after they moved in, and a neighbor told them.
That's insane. 'Cause,
Yeah.
That realtor
They
was
can,
like,
they can sue.
yeah.
You're supposed to
Oh, you
like.
can?
No, they
You
can't. Realtors don't have to disclose if there was a dead body in the house. If you know it, if you Google it and you find out, then they have to give you the house for cheap if you still want it. But they do not have to disclose
Oh,
it.
I
I was
thought
pretty
they-
sure they like made a law about it that
Yeah.
realtors have to tell you if there was a murder in the
Nope.
house.
Within a certain amount of time.
They do not have to disclose that.
wow.
Well, I
So-
How do you know that?
I do history on all of my apartments.
This is our cue.
I cannot confirm nor deny these accusations.
It's like, because
well,
I-
it's like Ouija Origins of Evil that I had you watch.
Oh, yeah.
Where the Nazi buried the
That was crazy.
the bodies in the basement. They never knew about it, and the souls were trying to save the kids.
Listen, I moved into my apartment 2 years ago. I ain't gonna say nothing about my apartment on air. I don't need my fans coming after me. But there was a body in the lake. We have multiple lakes in our
Yeah.
apartment. There was a body in the lake like in 2018 or whatever. They imagined
She's
it
like,
was
nope.
suicide, but
that disappeared. I'm out
and
of here.
then we just had a fire this year
Yeah.
on like the top of our apartment complex. Thankfully everybody survived. as they're telling us, but yeah, I mean, it's
I
wild.
smell burnt meat.
Oh my goodness. All right, last topic on the serial killers, but there was I think I did like because when I was doing criminal justice my sophomore year in high school, it was this one specific serial killer
Oh, I
that
hope I know it.
I remembered.
I can't be 4 for 5.
You're gonna be
that
4 for
that I
5.
remembered because like I was alive during that time and I used to watch like Nightline
Golden
and
State
shit.
the Golden State
No.
Killer.
Zodiac Killer?
Bind, torture, kill.
Oh, BTK,
Yo,
baby!
that
BTK!
was insane, man.
BTK!
The BTK
You guys
killer.
You know about
Wait
BTK? Okay,
Oh.
so it was this like
Please let us
somewhat
know.
normal dude, all right? And I'm just gonna give you like the real rundown. He would basically like look for he would stalk houses for weeks, and he would learn their routine. He would know what like windows they like to leave open. He would break into the house beforehand, like a night or two beforehand, to make sure he knew how to get back out. Okay, he would
Wow.
break into the house. He would basically like threaten the couple. It was mostly a couple. He would bind them and then torture them for like a while, and then end up killing them. And he was in Tampa?
He was in
He was in
Tampa.
Tampa.
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause
Fuck.
I was living in
Who wants to
I-
move to Tampa now?
I know
Not me.
No, 'cause I knew the apartments that they like. I think finally caught him at or something like that. I knew the apartments, and I was in Tampa when I found about the BTK killer.
That shit was
Yeah.
chilling.
Or like Son of Sam. Wild.
Son of Sam. That shit was chilling because I remember they did a story. I think it was his first victim. He killed the youngest son was lucky because he had just got out of school and he came home. His front door was wide open.
Yeah.
And he goes in and he's looking for his parents and he finds the mom and dad like tied up. I think hog-tied or
I think they were hogtied.
they were hog-tied.
Because I think it was similar to Golden State.
Golden State, yeah.
Yeah, I think they were hogtied.
They were hog-tied and
So this one, he didn't torture him for days?
no, he tortured them
For days?
Yeah,
No, for hours.
For hours.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
for hours. Yeah, and I think they had like bullet wound to the head, and he had an older sister, and he was looking for her. No one could find the older sister. And they ended up going down to the basement, and she's hanging from
Yeah.
the ceiling, tied up.
How old is the little boy?
I think he was like 8, 9.
Oh, he's
or-
traumatized.
And
Yeah.
that's someone you gotta look out for.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because him seeing that, well, he's either gonna...
Mhm.
While your mind is still developing.
Yeah.
And the thing that's crazy is he started killing in the 80s and then disappeared for like a decade and then came back like late 90s, early 2000s, and then they finally caught him.
Was it a family member that like matched up with him?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they
Oh,
have
I
a new
heard
like
about that.
genealogy
Yeah.
DNA thing.
They found him in 04. It was crazy. He was like playing games with the police officers.
Was he the one that had the pot roast in the oven?
Yes.
Yeah, so when they got to his house, he like knew they were coming or something like that, so they went in and arrested him, and he asked somebody to like take the pot roast out of the oven. He had like a pot roast in
He
the
had a
oven.
pot
He's a
roast.
psychopath.
He like fully
It
knew
was
they were
so
coming.
That's a
fucking-
psychopath.
When I tell you that shit was crazy, because I remember watching that as a young kid, because I was in the 4th grade when he got caught, and like the story about him came up, and like the country was terrified, or like the state was terrified, because you never knew. They're like, don't leave any windows open, always close your blinds, make sure you're looking around you, you know, see if anyone's watching you, because like it's not just, you know, I find you and then you look like a victim, and I
Yeah.
kill you. This man was like doing
Meticulous.
It was random.
It
He
was-
did not
he
care.
did
Researched
not
you.
care. Yeah.
He would just like find a random family that he thought, yep, they're good. If they had an open door or if they had a window or whatever, he would just stalk them for those few weeks. Go after them.
Did they find-
Imagine someone watching your routine.
Did they
every
ask
day.
him
Thank
why
God I
he
don't
did
have
it?
one.
Or did he just...
I'm sure.
You gotta
I'm
keep
sure
them
they
on their
did.
toes.
I don't remember for certain.
Yeah.
If you wanted me to take a wild stab at it, I would say fear of rejection or like being rejected by women. But
Usually
that's a
that-
stab.
But what would that have
Yeah.
to do with the entire family, though?
It's mostly like making the man a submissive and making the man feel the way he feels, and then going after the wife because
That's
of
crazy.
like putting
The
out their
power.
fear on them. And then, at that point in age, it doesn't really matter. You go after girls or boys. Again, I don't remember why what his answer was, but if I was taking a stab, that's what it would be.
Yeah, didn't he represent himself in court?
Of course he did.
Yeah, he represented. It
I
was
thought that was
crazy.
only Bundy.
No,
Yeah.
multiple do. There's the guy that you know how last year somebody
Waukesha.
yeah
Yeah.
in Waukesha,
Darren
Darren,
A lot
Darren,
more than I
Darren,
thought you
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
So
You're
the-
hanging around our sister too much.
the guy who drove a car through the Waukesha parade, he was being chased by police
Oh,
at the
yeah.
time. He's representing himself in court.
How many
right
people
now.
did he kill?
6.
Yeah, he went
Yeah.
full speed.
He injured a lot, but he killed like 6. He's representing himself
Yeah.
in court, and it's very obvious. It's very obvious that he's
Nope.
I'm not for the laugh. Oh no! Oh, that's diabolical. That's diabolical.
Why you laugh?
I mean, I feel bad, but all I can think about is like, as a kid, when people wouldn't get out of the fucking way, we'd be like, how many points?
Grand
for
Theft-
this person?
Grand Theft Auto.
GTA.
Yeah, well, he killed kids.
4-star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grand
when
Theft-
it
old
comes
people.
to kids, and
The
No,
old
okay,
ladies.
okay, but like really.
They live their life.
Yeah, don't.
You know, they probably.
There's a 6-year-old
Probably
that got
did
ran
some
over by a tire, and he's
unspeakable
like,
things.
"Yeah, the old people." I'm like, we all have them. in public. Like,
people.
But no, he's representing himself in the trial, and it's blatantly obvious that he's doing everything he can to get a rise out of the judge, who's also
yeah.
a woman, which feels great that he got a woman judge. But he's doing everything he can to get a rise out of her to get a mistrial. And that
Yes.
woman, I commend. She is a hero.
She is
because
keeping
she
her calm.
Is keeping it cool.
Yeah.
He literally doesn't know anything about the justice system. He asked an officer, the officer who was chasing him. He asked him for like 10 minutes straight, like, how do you know that my name's Darren? And he's like, I didn't know that at the time, but I know that now. I'm sure somebody like in the police office told me. And he's like,
Yeah.
but how do you know? Like, how do you know that? And he's like, are you kidding me right now? That's what he's doing.
He's a narcissist.
That, I don't know. It's way beyond that. But because I'm still trying to keep up with like clips and stuff. I think a couple days ago, she had to call like a break, a recess.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Because he
too.
was just staring her down the whole time for
I
like
couldn't be a judge.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes straight, just staring her down.
I'm pretty
just
sure that
like,
was because he was mad that he wouldn't come up with a lineup for his witnesses. He wouldn't pick the witnesses that he like how he wanted them to show up. So the court did it, which makes sense because
Yeah.
you got to pick witnesses in some order.
Right.
And his ex-girlfriend was coming up, and he knew like obviously like no witness
she's about
has
to
been on his behalf.
set
Every
up.
single one has just
Against him.
ruled against him, but. His ex-girlfriend was coming, and he threw the biggest fit about how the court chose his witnesses, and that's taking his freedom away from him. And I'm like, my dog, you gave up that right.
You gave up that
Yeah.
right the moment you drove through that crowd.
Yeah,
That's
and he keeps saying
nuts.
she doesn't have the right to excuse him from the courtroom and continue on. But like, there's a Supreme Court, specifically a Supreme Court decision that she can do so, and he's just not.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you
Did
think-
he say why he ran over those people? Was he trying to get at somebody, or he just did it just to do it?
Well, I think his original crime was like shooting at a woman or
I
something
believe
like that.
so. It was like a road rage or something.
Yeah.
What?
And then he was running from the police, but he has such a disregard for life that he just went through them. And he
He
won't,
did
like, he's so narcissistic, he won't say, he's denying he did it.
Yeah.
He's saying, like, there's no proof that I did it.
Cuckoo could shoot.
That shit's crazy. Do you think he could plead insanity at this
No.
point?
I think that's what he's trying to do.
No.
Yeah, because like he'll act. I remember the first couple weeks of the trial, he's like taking his shirt off. He's
Mm-hmm.
yelling, standing on the desk and everything. It was
The
just.
thing is like,
Oh yeah, some people will do whatever just so they don't get
You gotta
Yeah.
see it.
just so they don't get
Whenever you
butt
have
raped
time,
in jail.
You gotta watch these clips.
Well,
This guy's.
I don't know
nuts.
the legal system that well, but I'm pretty sure you have to plead insanity
Before
before
trial.
you start the trial.
Okay.
Plus, he's saying he's going to represent himself. That's a bit much.
Jeez.
I would imagine, I feel like if I was like in court or if I was the court system, I would be doing an insanity, like I would be doing a psychological test on all of them
Mm-hmm.
from the start just so they can't plead it. But I would think once you're like judged, all you can do is put in an appeal. I don't think you can then say, well, I'm insane, because you already got judged.
Right.
You already got the guilty verdict. You can't turn around and say, oh, I appeal, I'm insane, when you just did an entire 3 weeks of court saying,
Wasting
"Oh,
time.
I didn't do it," and wasting time and fighting with the
I'm insane
judge.
now that I found out I'm guilty.
No, I'm guilty. I'm crazy, y'all.
Guilty. I fucking do it again.
Oh man.
But every time we keep talking about this, I keep thinking of the guilty as charged.
Guilty as bruh shit. But going back to the court case, did you finally see the wrap up of the Parkland shooter case?
I was very upset with how the defense handled that situation.
How so?
So a few days before they were going to wrap up, normally what you do is you give a quick, brief schedule of where you are so that the prosecutors have enough time. It's so that you can have a quick and speedy trial. The prosecutors know that they're going to be going up next. They know what time, how many more witnesses you're going to call, yada, 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 and the court knows. The defense said that they were going to need like the entire day to get through the rest of the witnesses, that they had like 40 more witnesses. They lasted 30 minutes, and then they said they were wrapping up, which means...
For 40 people?
Yeah, they didn't interview all 40.
Oh.
They went 30 minutes into that day of court, and then said like we rest our case. So then the prosecution is scrambling to catch up, and the judge was so angry that she dismissed the jury so that they couldn't plead a mistrial. She dismissed the jury, called them out on it, and said like it was disgusting and how dare they, and she knows what they're trying to do. Then they tried to get her to like bench herself basically. She wouldn't do it. She's like, you don't have enough reason. She's like, the jury wasn't there when I had this conversation with you, and this is your issue that you're presenting.
Right.
Yeah, I get that like you need to do everything you can for your client, but when he's obviously that guilty, you need to take the L. You need to do the 40 witnesses, take the massive L, know that you're going down, let him, make a plea deal, or let him go down however he's going down. Do not compromise your integrity.
Right.
Just for somebody that was a mass shooter.
I couldn't be a lawyer. If I know you did it and you're
Bruh,
doing it to me,
you
I'd be
guilty
like,
as fuck. Your Honor,
get
he
him!
fucking did it. He did it. Guilty.
he told me the whole thing.
Or that TikTok killer said what?
What?
He did it,
guilty. Bruh.
I love those ones where they're lawyers and they like come in and they're like, okay, first of all, don't tell me nothing. Don't tell me if you did it.
Holy shit.
Whatever your story is, give it to me. We're gonna make a better one.
That's crazy.
Guilty.
Look, all I'm saying is, and not to bring like race into this, but they put all this effort in for this white boy who obviously killed children. Meanwhile, there's like so many, specifically black men. There's so many specific like people in prison who are going against charges that they're obviously not. Like,
Don't they have that program? I wanted to say Second Life something, where like they'll go through old cases that kind of have like asterisks next to them.
Yeah.
And then they'll end up setting these guys free. Prime example, the Central Park 5.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up. It's like they sat in prison for how many years?
Almost, 30, 40 years?
And who had their back?
Nobody.
You know?
On top of that, the last guy that was in prison got raped and all that stuff like that.
And that shit will change them. Because, like, they had no record prior. And then I believe one of them got out and he ended up going back to jail for, like, domestic violence or some shit. Like,
because it's so easy to... I mean, if he did it, that's fucked. But if he didn't do it, like, it's so easy to look at a track record and be like, oh, okay, so
that's the reason
they
why.
did it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, letting someone out of jail after they've been there for like 30
That
or
shit-
40 years,
Oh, yeah. It is not
your
well done.
mindset isn't
Yeah.
normal to live
No.
in, like,
Yeah.
There's
public
no, like,
rehab.
reintegration.
Yeah, no.
For that. That's
I mean, they tried paying him. The city paid him, but that what does that do?
Come
Well, no,
on,
like,
bro.
even for
Can't
people
give my
that are
life
in
back.
prison for a reason, even they have, like, halfway houses and stuff, but it's really nothing. It's basically like, yeah, you can stay here for a couple days or a couple weeks until you, like, get your shit together, but you need to get a job, you need to get this, you have to, like, already get on parole, and it's like, okay, well, how many jobs don't accept felons?
Oh, wow.
That's nuts.
well, when you're in jail, you're like always watching your back, so getting out, like,
It's the same.
There's
yeah.
a hierarchy. There's, like...
there's
It's
even more
crazy.
of a wall built.
Yeah, because there's 4 walls, but then when you hit, there's no 4 walls, so you're literally guarding yourself 24/7.
I'll tell you what, though, child predators definitely deserve to be on
Oh
the
yeah,
bottom.
absolutely.
And
Anything
I
that
feel
deals
nothing.
with
Castration.
rape or children or
Well,
anything like that, yeah, absolutely.
I forgot what it was, but I think it was either a serial killer or somebody, but there was maybe it was just like a YouTube or whatever, but there was a dude who said that like the rule in his prison was if you are bunking with a child predator, it is your job to kill them. You have to take, it's either you take the beating.
You're getting a promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said like either you take the beating or you either beat them till unconscious or you kill them. Those are your only options. You take it or they take it. And it is your duty because you need to protect those kids basically.
Right. You gotta avenge
I
them.
know most prisons are just you beat the shit out of child predators. I've never heard one say like you kill.
No, they beat and
like-
rape.
Yeah.
They beat and rape them.
We beat.
That's why the kid that the lawyers are trying to defend so hard, they know he knows what's gonna happen to him once he goes to the jail.
What kid?
The
Parkland
the
kid.
Parkland
Oh,
kid.
the Parkland.
Yeah, he knows what's gonna happen to him when he goes to jail.
He gonna wish he got the death penalty.
Yep.
Bro. That kind of trips me up that it has to be unanimous. Like, I think that's the only, Florida is one of the only states where, like, if you're on trial for the death penalty, the jury has to be
yeah, they have to be unanimous.
unanimous.
On one hand, like I get it. I mean, you see a lot of states where people are unjustly given the death penalty and then it's found out years later that they don't deserve it, and now you're trying to get a stay of execution as quickly as possible because most people don't pay attention to the crime until their execution date's coming up, and now you're screwed. So I get that. I think it is supposed to be like something that's weighed heavily on. Personally, I'm not all for the death penalty.
Yeah,
I think it's such an easy way. It's
Yeah,
like, such
it's an
a
easy
cop-out.
way out.
Yeah.
I rather you
I
suffer.
think you need to sit in jail. Yeah,
Suffer.
you need to like.
And I think-
Once it once it dawns on you that you fucked up, now you have the rest of your life to.
Well, not even. I think they should have like different types of jail.
In
Like
what
I
sense?
mean,
you psycho. I already know where you're going with this.
No, I want to hear this. Come
Yeah,
on,
I
let's
gotta hear
go.
this.
Let's go.
if you're like
taking some
molesting
Hellraiser
children
You're
or
right.
you're a serial killer, you shouldn't just get to go to regular
Go
jail.
to molester.
Where I mean, like pretty much, where like
You get butt
You
rape,
get-
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
yeah, you get food, you get a bed. I mean, you get books, you get all this shit. Why do you deserve that after what you've done? You
Yeah.
sitting there and you
No, for
deserve
real.
nothing.
No,
That's free housing.
And honestly,
everything.
if you're a child molester, you deserve to get tortured. They should cut your off.
castration.
I do agree that like
They
there
deserve
should
to
be
be
like
paid.
high max, high security. Like that's where you belong. I don't think high max needs to be having like all the fancy shit. I don't look at high max prisons, so I don't know if like
Right.
they all do.
Mostly in other countries.
There's a good chance that they don't, and like other countries do, because other countries don't have the mass murder
Some of
rate
them
that
they
we
be
do.
having like
The go-kart race.
Go-karts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
go-kart races.
But they say if
for
they're murderers or
They
child,
can't
sex, child,
participate.
yeah.
That's just like, oh, you can't go on the field trip. Like what?
Yeah,
I
but
don't know, man.
I kind of see it as like, I think more so like you see a lot of like mass murderers and child molesters and stuff like that who get solitary, and I get it. Like that can really like mess with your mind. You're
Yeah.
alone by yourself in a hole, day in day out. However, I also would imagine that solitary nowadays is not like the whole. I don't know for certain, but I feel like it's
Right.
you just have a cell to yourself, and I'm like, no. You had no problem going after people that couldn't
That's
protect
crazy.
themselves. You got to be in a cell with
You
somebody
gotta
else.
be right.
And you know what? Like I'll
open
keep you
courtyard
alive.
or whatever.
Yeah, if I'm a guard, I'm gonna keep you alive because that you had life in prison. I'll keep you alive, but I'm not gonna lose my mind if you're getting beaten every day. Because my thing is, I think it's
Make sure
so
you clean
easy.
up the blood when you're done.
Yeah, right?
Throw a rag on them. Clean yourself up.
I think it's so easy. Like I get frustrated when you see these serial killers who go to jail and like the wardens and the guards look the other way for the prisoners to kill them, and I'm like, dude, they almost had life. Like they
Yeah.
would spend every day of their life
Yeah.
tortured and miserable.
Mm-hmm.
3 times what they put their victims through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead, like Jeffrey Dahmer wanted to die,
Yeah.
and he got it.
And he got it.
And he annoyed people until he got it. And that's my thing is I was like, you gave him what he wanted at the end of the day, and
He went out on his terms.
yeah.
Not theirs. Yeah.
That is tough. I couldn't. So, what classifies serial killer versus like
A mass murderer.
murderer? Right.
A serial killer is, sorry, I know the like definition. A serial killer is 3 or more victims in a 2-week time frame. A mass murderer is multiple victims in one specific time frame. So a mass murderer that kills 3 people, I mean, it might not seem like a lot, but if I kill 3 to 5 people in one specific time frame, I can be a mass murderer because I did it in that one moment. If I killed you guys over a 2-week time frame, I'm a serial killer. But if I only killed 2 of you, I'm not a serial killer.
Yeah, it has to be 2.
I feel like my definition is like a mass murderer is like you're going out and there's like a bunch of people and you're like,
Yeah,
and then
all
like
at once.
Serial killers, I feel like serial killers, they stalk their prey
their
before they
victim.
do it. That's how I interpret it.
Okay.
Well, I don't remember who.
Well,
it
yeah,
was.
if you look at Chucky, Jason, Freddy, well, not Freddy Krueger, but Michael Myers, they do stalk their people before they kill them.
But I don't remember who it was, but there was a guy who went around and would just shoot people. Not like a mass group of people, but he would like go around at night and shoot like individual people just walking. And he would do it like 1 person a night or like 2 people a night. So in that case, like I see that as a serial killer, but they have random victims. They're not stalking. They're just picking. So I think that's why like they start to
kind of
like the textbook definition, but it does go along with what Jay is saying is like.
Because it's like I never saw them call the DC Sniper a serial killer.
He is.
He is?
Or he's not a serial killer. He's a mass murderer.
He's a mass murderer. Because it was like...
The concert, right?
Yeah.
No, DC Sniper. Remember the father and son back in like... This was right after 9/11. Where people were still on edge. And then the father and son were in that Cadillac. Like this brown Cadillac.
But that's because they were killing like multiple people on the scene.
So
like, you know how... I forgot who it was. But somebody was like... Oh, I listened to a podcast and one of the girls like lived in DC at the time. And she was saying that like her mom was so terrified and she was at the gas station and I think they started to like open fire and she I think had just left or her mom was there or whatever, but they were fine and it was right by her school. She was not in the car.
Holy
she was
shit,
at
wow.
school. So I think in that case, because they're killing multiple people in one go, even though it's a serial killer because they're going to different places, it's a mass murderer. You know, if the Parkland shooter didn't get caught, or if the Columbine kids didn't get caught, they would have gone to other places.
Right.
Which, shout out, if you ever read the book Columbine, it's really messed up. It's really dark. It starts to kind of make you look at mass murders and serial killers a different way. Everybody says the whole, like, they're bad, you should care about the victims, but it's a natural to just be fascinated with the person that's
You're trying to
fucked up.
understand their psychological state and
It's
why
very
they do what
natural.
they do.
Everybody thinks they're a psychologist. But I thought they do to a certain extent. But I thought like reading that book, because it was by a journalist, I think, who was at the time doing these doing this coverage. There's like notes in the back of the book, the notes that they were writing in their journals. There's like pictures and stuff like that, so you get like a play-by-play and a step-by-step of what they were doing. Or like there's a kid that was like 16, 17 who worked at a supermarket, his dad's supermarket. He wanted to kill more than the Columbine killers did, so he was like recording himself on YouTube.
Damn.
And like he had a YouTube thing and he said he was gonna kill people and stuff, and like some people didn't really think he was going to. They thought it was just like a whole joke.
Some bullshit, right?
And he went outside, flipped a coin on whether it was going to be his dad's supermarket or if it was going to be like just at home or something like that.
What the fuck?
And it was his supermarket, and he killed everybody in the supermarket. I think one person got away.
Jeez.
And he recorded the whole thing.
That's like on some GoPro shit, kind of like the Christchurch.
Oh, did
Like,
you see
there's-
the one where the guy, like, it was all over, like, Instagram and Facebook where he just pulled up, and it kind of looked like playing a video game.
Christchurch,
almost.
yeah,
Is that what it was? It
yeah.
was a grocery store, though.
No, Buffalo.
Oh, no.
That's Buffalo.
That was Buffalo.
That's the
Then
one that leaked.
Buffalo.
Yeah, they
Okay.
leaked that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Buffalo.
Intense.
Yeah,
That's when we were having the. That's when we found out who was in the grocery store that
Mhm.
they actually went to kill, but he had to kill
But
multiple.
the Christchurch, he live streamed it on Twitch.
I know, it's
That was nuts, and it really looked like you were playing like a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's the thing is that kid I was talking about that had the YouTube was recording everything, and there's a part of the video that they are willing to show where like there's somebody stocking shelves that has headphones in, and he stops and he's watching them for like a while, and they don't notice him, and he walks away from the aisle, and then when he goes to like shoot somebody else, that's when they hear it and they're able to escape and like get out. But like that split second of like it could have been you.
It could have been
Which is
you.
why when we're working, they said have one earbud in, because if fire happens or anything like that, or
Right.
shooting, they want you to be able to hear it, because if you're listening to music, you're
Or
not
like
gonna,
there was a Publix in Florida that just recently got shot up, and it's that scary feeling of like no matter where you work, but specifically at grocery
You're never
stores,
safe.
yeah.
Never.
you're constantly like looking, and especially if you work in the bakery or in grocery,
No
you're
cashier.
constantly like looking at the door, because the thing is like people that have been shooting up grocery stores. I don't want to believe, but I want to believe that there's a motive. Like, okay, I'm going because I want the cash, but they're not. They know that there's a lot of people there,
Right.
and they know that what they think is there's only one way out,
Right.
and it's scary and
It's
it's tough.
terrifying.
Well, again, too, like I would tell my brother, like every time when we're at 1331, that all I
Know
did,
your exits.
Yep. I
Know
knew
your
my exits, and
all the
every time I was stalking, I would look left and right
Yeah.
every single time. And
I
that's
had a
just
habit of like when I walk into a Home Depot,
Look for
anywhere.
everything.
exits.
Hey, where's the restroom? Go to the restroom. Okay, there's an exit. There's an exit. There's an exit.
That's the first thing.
And then I
every
just
time.
do whatever I need to do.
I don't like having my back towards the door when I'm eating out somewhere. I have to see who's coming
Yeah.
in.
Who's
Yes.
coming in?
Yeah, same
Facts.
thing when I mean, like,
Facts.
if you're in the break room, my face is to the door.
Yeah, and then whatever store I go to, I go through this plan of where I'm gonna hide if I
Mhm.
have to hide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Crazy how we're thinking like that, right?
Yeah, man. As a
You
society,
got
that
to.
sucks.
That's the world we live in.
man.
Well, no, like somebody even asked me. I just had this conversation with a older lady at work today, where she was like, "Well, don't you think that these mass shootings are because of like video games?" And I'm like, "Actually, no.
No.
I think mental health has been
Old
so
people.
often disregarded.
Push
Yeah,
back,
swept
un-
under the rug.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's just like it's so easy, you know, whether you believe it or not, it's so easy to get a gun nowadays. And
Mhm.
mental health is still being swept under the rug. It's getting better, but it's still pretty rough. And then I feel like these kids that are doing this, and I mean adults that are doing this, the people in their lives aren't looking for it. You're not looking for a murderer. You don't
No.
know what a murderer looks like, but
Not
you know, they
anymore.
say, I think it's like you pass by, I think like 3 in your lifetime or something like that. Like,
yeah.
Well, you
in terms
pass
of
by
odds.
a psychopath or a sociopath every like 5 people or something.
Yeah, I think it's like 1% of the population.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you pass by them every single
And
day.
you'll never know.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
I
Yeah.
And that's the
worked.
thing is, most
No, go ahead.
sociopaths and most psychopaths, they say like are not violent. There's really they're not sure what it is just yet, but for the most part, they're not violent. They've figured it out. They don't even know it half the time. They tend to be like really good career personnel, like bosses, like
Mhm.
big
Oh,
bosses
yeah.
tend to be like psychopaths.
Well,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, look, my brother had a good theory. My brother literally said, anybody can be a sociopath or a psychopath. It's just we're able to control it. Like he says, a lot of
High
politicians.
functioning sociopath.
Yeah, like he's like all politicians. They're sociopaths or
You have to
psychopaths.
be. You have to be.
Yeah,
a sociopath.
to be able to do the jobs that they do, smile every day, do their dirty shit.
Shit on people's lives.
Yep,
You
do
know.
the dirty shit under the
For
rug.
that
They're
bread.
just able to control.
Yeah,
it.
like me, I worked with a kitty diddler for 3 years. Never knew it, and everything.
Kitty litter?
A kitty diddler.
Kitty diddler.
Oh.
Oh
kitty
yeah,
diddler.
like to diddle kids.
Yes,
and he
got
worked
it.
at 847.
Yeah, literally worked with him for.
Later, we're asking who that is.
Bruh. Yeah, absolutely. And I worked with him for like 3 years before the day I was supposed to come in, because he worked mid shift. So we had I was in seafood, because we had a morning shift, mid shift, and then I was a closer. And he never showed up for the mid shift, and I was like, okay, what the fuck's happening? I still see the opener still there, and they're like, well, yeah, he got arrested. He got extradited to West Virginia or something like that.
West Virginia.
That's where he
And-
escaped from.
Everything he told me
Was
dawned on me.
was a
It
lie.
just bam. It just
Then you
clicked.
started noticing all the things.
Everything he said, the stories he told me, the comments he would
the
make,
way he'd look at the
Listen,
young
the
women.
way he would look at young women when they'd walk by.
Not
and
even the
things
college
that
girls.
yeah,
the young kids.
Well, no,
The
that's the thing
kids.
is like, you know, I think I mentioned it slightly on the last one, but like being somebody that's been in those situations, unfortunately, but I also try to see the best of it. You know what it looks like, and you know like just how many.
I feel like you get a feeling, like you know when something's
Right.
off.
Something was off. Like,
Yeah.
because when he would say those things, I wouldn't even respond.
You just brush it
well,
off.
the thing that
I
I've
mean,
noticed Go
I
ahead.
think about that shit all the time. Sometimes when I meet someone, I'm like, you make me uncomfortable. I'm not going to be like, you're a rapist. But like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be around that person
Yeah.
alone. Like, they make me very uncomfortable.
Yeah. You just get that feeling.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
have to trust your gut.
Yeah, of course.
Well, no, that's the thing is, like, I think for me, having that history of, like, knowing kitty diddlers and being the kid that they did that to, I think my issue is, like, I can, like, you get the feeling, you're like, oh, that's who it is.
Something's
The
off,
worst
right?
part, though, is, like, so many men nowadays catcall. And, like, I mean, I've been at my store for a week. I've had 4 different men call me, like, from across the room or from across the parking lot. Good morning. And, like, that would be fine. I'll take a good morning and I'll just look and keep going because I don't need to say nothing. But I've had a gentleman while I've been, like, bent over, and I squat. I never bend over. I always squat down because I know what it's like.
Yep.
I had a gentleman come up and he goes, "What, you don't have a name?
Oh,
What, you
that's
can't say
nutty.
hi?" So now it's rude of me.
Oh,
And there's,
that's
I mean, just look
nutty.
at how many women have been murdered and
What the
killed
fuck does that mean?
because they didn't give a phone number or they didn't say
They
hello.
didn't give a compliment.
And
Take
that's the thing
compliment.
is, like,
Yeah.
every single day they might, you know, let's say I told them that to their face, they're gonna be like, "But I'm not like that." I'm like, I don't know that.
Right.
I don't know that. First of all,
Yeah.
that's not how you. I don't go up to Jeff and I go, "Well, you ain't got no name." That's not right.
That's wild.
That's
That's
not right.
wild.
But
bro.
somehow, like, even
He's from
even
up north.
if I was single and I was into it, right? Why would I turn around and you go, "Well, you ain't got no name"? I'm be like, oh, "Take my number." Like,
I just think men don't know how to talk to females
But that's the
anymore.
thing, it's
we
don't-
we already had that
No.
conversation.
I feel
Jeff.
like they don't
nuts.
want to know.
Yeah.
I think most men don't want to know
They don't
because
know.
men that
No, they
have
wanna-
females have learned
Yeah.
and they care.
Right.
But they see a lot of guys nowadays just see women as objects.
Right.
That's
They
exactly
see
what I
women
was
as objects.
thinking.
That's why you're hearing a lot of, like, there's sluts nowadays. There's
Mm-hmm.
baby mamas but not wives. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
everybody has been exactly the same, but there's been this, like, you know, it's like incels basically,
Right.
where they get this concept and it's very like Andrew Tate, where it's very much like they're in the wrong for not accepting me. They want a man that can take care of them, but they don't want me. And it's like, well, we don't want men that can take care of us. We
Right.
want to not have to take care of ourselves. But seeing that, and then also having the history of being a child and having an adult who's supposed to protect me touch me inappropriately, it's just this kind of constant fear of, like, I don't want to be near any man.
Right.
I mean, it took Ryan years for me to be comfortable with him, and I've known him since I was a kid. Because I know he would never do anything to hurt me or touch me inappropriately if I didn't want him to. But I didn't have the choice when I was younger. It just happened by not just one person. And knowing that it's not just one person, it just makes you think of how many people in the world do it. And it's crazy how many people you walk by when that happens.
Yeah.
Not to get super deep or anything.
No,
Well,
that's facts.
well,
It's like-
again, too,
that's
and
facts.
it just sucks because for men that don't do that, that's how we're perceived. So it's like, yeah, I'm not like the last guy or the guy you dated, but you're all
You never know.
Every guy
Yeah,
says
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
you
saying.
just-
Plus, I don't know
When-
about you, but I feel like in the meeting, and this is a very generalized thing,
Mhm.
in the first meeting with somebody,
You know.
I can tell if I need to, like, if I can drop my guard a little bit, not a lot, but like 5%, where I can say, okay, I'll continue a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And then there's no way in hell I'm going to continue this conversation. I'm going to be rude. I'm going to be mean. I'm
Are
gonna
you
get
talking
out.
about, like, customer-wise or, like, in general?
In general.
In general, like, as a customer, if a customer
You know.
is talking to me, I have to talk to them. But once my,
What do you want to say?
but once,
Say it with your chest.
once my job as an employee is complete and I have done what I needed
Yeah.
to
It's
do,
like clock
I'm walking out.
Facts.
So it's stuff like that.
Well, again,
Not me.
too.
I'm fucking rude to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're a
Who are
manager.
you?
You get to
You-
do that.
yeah,
I don't do
No,
that.
no. I'm
It's-
not talking about at work. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah.
If I'm meeting someone, I'm like, okay, cool. I don't care who you are.
Right.
I'm going to act like that bitch because they're going to be like,
Right.
not gonna take her.
I would rather be a bitch
Yeah.
and survive.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, I mean, I forget who says it, but, like, people say nowadays, be a bitch, be
Yeah.
safe. Like, just be
Be a
rude,
bitch.
don't
yeah,
care.
because they're like, oh, I need help with my groceries. I don't give a fuck if you need help with your
We
groceries.
got Google, motherfucker. What
There's
the
carts.
Not only that, as long as you're a bitch, you have a higher chance of surviving. Not
Yeah.
only
Right.
because they might not take you.
They'll
They
see
go
it as
for, like,
it's
the
difficult,
equal.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you
Right.
came and like hollered at me and I was like, fuck you, like back up, give me 10 feet of space,
That's
keep
facts.
going.
Yeah,
You're gonna be like, man,
That's
Probably-
too
yeah.
hard.
She probably
Yeah.
got a 9 or mace in that bag.
But again, the way a male or female, approaches you guys can already tell whether it's going to be a good interaction or a bad interaction. Because if somebody just randomly walks you, I guarantee you're not a bitch to everybody, every
No.
single person. But if you can tell, like,
if you see them scoping you out,
oh yeah,
You
and
always do.
You already
Defense
know.
mode.
You always
You
do.
always see them scoping
Yeah.
you
Listen,
out.
I had it happen today. I'm telling you. Listen, I'm telling you. It's too often. It's way I can't go a day, and this is not me sitting here being like, "Oh, I'm fine as fuck." This is not me sitting here. Listen,
I don't like to brag, but
it's something for another day. I personally don't think that I'm attractive.
I think
I'm
you're
working
very
on it.
beautiful. That needs
you.
to be said. Testing 1 2 1 2.
Listen, I'm working on it, and I got to work on my self-love, and we talked about that a little bit. But I don't find myself particularly attractive. However, I'm aware that like every day something is said. It's because of the way my body is, and I get that. But every day I know when it's going to happen. Today specifically, I went and put bread out at a specific store I work at. Went and put bread out, and I watched somebody from the department next to me
Break their
stand. No, they stood in between the two departments. There's no reason for them to be there. There's 1,000 things they need to be doing in their department. They stood in the middle of the departments, and they watched me. And the whole reason I didn't go that way was because I knew they were going to say something. So I thought, you know what? Bring the bread out the long way. Just put it out real quick. Head back. So I'm doing that. And he's noticing I'm not saying anything. I'm not looking. So he steps out. And he goes, well, good morning. I went, hi. And he goes, well, how are you? You can't tell me how you are? And I went, fine. And just put everything up and walked away. Then he made his way into my department.
Jesus Christ.
And was
911.
talking to everybody and wanted
He
to
doesn't
ask everybody
understand,
how he was
no.
doing. But that's the thing. So many guys like that, and I'm not saying it's all men. I want to say for the most part, people understand it's not all men. But if you're one of those guys that thinks that's appropriate, if you're one of those guys that thinks I can just walk up to a woman and give them swag or whatever, that's not a drip or whatever you want to call it.
Riz.
I
That's
feel
what I'm
like
talking
men
about.
who
wants
do
that.
that are the ones who think that women are objects or want to take ownership.
Mhm.
Because
And
I've
they
never seen like an
consume-
actual nice guy do that.
And
I promise you, any woman who's looking for a relationship, any woman who's looking for a hookup, any woman that is looking for anything that you can provide,
you'll find
if you just say, good morning, and leave it at that. Just good morning. That's it. You could say, like, what's your name?
right.
That's fine, but there's
Yeah.
this
You have
malice.
to be respectful.
There's a
Right.
malice behind it. And you know what? If I'm not about it and I'm not looking at you and I just say, good morning, yep, I'm good. Like, I have a boyfriend. I see it as like, I need to be very straight focused. Don't entertain very much because at
Right.
this kind of time,
They'll take any
crumb they can get.
crumb.
You know, I think it
Right.
is, and I'm not speaking for all men, but I think as soon as they go aggressive, because in their mind, instant rejection, and they can't take that, so they're automatically assuming you're going to reject them, so they're going to already go in hard.
Yeah.
Pause, and then they're going to automatically assume that if they get rejected, it is what it is. I'll just move on to the
But
next.
it's like one thing I always learned growing up was the worst thing a woman can say is no.
No.
Just
Yeah.
take it and keep it.
Not
going.
even. The worst thing anybody can say is no. Like,
Right.
I can go, like when I worked with Jay, I can go around and say like, hey, can I do this? She could say no, and I'll be like, all right, cool. But
Oh, God,
it's about,
I have to cut this off real quick. I say that all the time now. Whenever I like say something, and
you
I'll
guys
ask,
seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yes.
Oh yes.
The
Yes.
cool.
I'll ask someone something, and they'll say yes, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then I immediately think of you. Nothing else. I'm just like, oh, you know what? I kind of miss Brooke today.
I'm working on it, guys. I'm getting better. People like me now. Saying I'm pretty. No, like that's the thing is, I think on one hand it's this fear of rejection, but I think on a whole other hand,
Yeah.
I mean, there's 1,000 things it could be. We'll never know for certain. It's funny. This was supposed to be.
I
Like
think
a serial
that's
killer
I
thing,
think that's the
but
number one though.
I think a lot of it too, at least from my perspective, is like they don't want to try. They don't want to put the effort in, and maybe it's because they think like, oh, I'm gonna get rejected. You're gonna get rejected 1,000 times
Before someone
They want
says
the
yes.
easy girls.
Well,
now.
that's the thing, and I brought this up a few episodes ago, where it's just like it's the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like you go on the internet. Like,
Internet brain.
Yeah, it's like internet brain. They have easy access to pornography, easy access to
OnlyFans.
seeing a woman's naked body.
Yeah, all
you
that.
know, easy access to.
So they
seeing-
take what they see online.
Right.
Sorry for cutting you
Go
off.
ahead.
They take what they see online and then they try to bring it into the real world, and it's like it doesn't work like that. That's not how women act. That's not how men talk. This is not how you portray yourself. So it's like,
like even
I mean,
back.
like,
fuck.
I don't understand how they think it's believable.
But I think it
I got
comes
stuck
down
in
to
the
what...
dryer.
Wait. Not to, hang on.
I seen that one.
Wait.
me!
Not
I'm
to
stuck
get,
in the
like-
dryer.
Not to get weird about it, not to tell you guys too much, but I love doing that. Like to Ryan, I'll be like grabbing something out of the laundry. I go, step bro, help me. Stuck in the dryer.
Step, bro.
Or like you get the popcorn and you're like, do you want some popcorn? And you're like, I know where this is going. Or
Yep.
the pizza. But
Oh man.
I think it comes back to what Jay was saying, where it's, you know, whether they're realizing it or not,
Yeah.
women are objects now.
Yeah, they're conditioned. It's in all of media.
Yeah.
Just the sexualization of women.
And like as soon as you
and-
get that woman,
right.
how dare she? They could get those baddies on Instagram that
But
they're
they
seeing
ain't
all the
keeping them,
time.
though.
As
But the
soon
minute
as they get
them,
them, the
why
chase
are
is
you
over.
Yeah.
why are you
You're
dressing
trash.
like
yeah,
that?
the gig is up.
Don't
Yeah.
post stuff
The
like
show,
that. But I'm gonna
right.
go like those posts. But how dare
With
you?
the same exact
Mhm.
outfit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things. Like I think it's coming off as like they're obstinate to change. They don't want to change. They don't want to grow. They don't want to know you. They just want to know what's under your clothes.
Right.
And that becomes really tough because how do I prove to you that I'm not an object? If I'm
You
always an
don't.
object in
You
your
keep
eyes.
walking.
Yeah.
You find a man that doesn't think women
But
are
that even
objects.
that even is, I think, you know, tying it back to serial killers. These men that have been shooting women
Right.
are shooting women because it's, how dare she not like me?
Yeah.
Right.
I can't handle that. I'm tired of being rejected. I'm going to take all this anger and put it into this person.
And that's what it is. Men, a lot of men cannot handle rejection, and it's like, I mean, you either
And they have these
get better at it.
They
That's it.
have these echo chambers where other men who experience that will validate their experience and
Yeah.
say, "You're in the right. You're right to feel that way."
So that feeds their.
Also, not to, sorry.
No, you're
I'm
good.
so sorry. I love you.
Yeah.
Not to like, you know, because I think it's very easy when we go down these rabbit holes, especially for me,
Uh-huh.
to think like I'm just shitting on men. I'm not. I mean, there's even like a TikTok.
It's okay.
There's even the TikTok of a woman who like she had this whole TikTok where she was basically saying like how she had a guy that she wanted to be friends with.
Men are trash.
He repeatedly told her, I don't want anything romantic. She said, no, we're just going to be friends. And she kept saying, I don't want to be romantic. He invited her to like some weekend retreat or whatever, to like go camping. I don't know. But he again told her, I don't want anything romantic. He brought along a girl he was talking to, and she lost her mind because how dare he? That like they had something going on. And this is what I mean. I'm not against all men. And I'm not in a man's space where you guys can have these like heart to hearts, even whether it's on TikTok or Reddit or whatever it's on. But women are very vocal and they're very outspoken. So like seeing that on TikTok, there were women that were like, yeah, how could they? But there's a lot of women that were like, hey
They were
man,
dragging her
that's
ass in the
bugged.
comments.
Like they said, like this is why men struggle. Like this is like, how can we hold men to a standard of, if I tell you we're friends, that's it, and then you turn around and do this.
Yeah.
So,
Women
I
holding
think
women
it's
accountable.
and I think it could go the same thing with men too, because I know that men, a woman will say, I just want to be friends, and the man will be like, okay, but then they'll wait for that opportunity.
They even made the whole friend zone thing.
Yeah, the friend
Or
zone.
it's like me. I don't believe the friend zone exists. She told you no. You know, pack. You know, like
I
take
think the
take your
idea of a
toys,
Take your
yeah.
L's
keep it moving.
and go.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
idea of a friend zone is that there's like a spectrum where you can move out of it. It's not a friend zone. You're either a friend or you're an interest.
Yeah, you're an interest,
And that's
right.
it. I mean, I've had specifically a friend that was in the friend zone who lost, and I ended up living with this person thinking everything's fine.
Nope.
And they lost
Never.
their mind when I
Never.
started seeing somebody.
Never, ever, ever.
I went to Walmart to get tampons one night, And they texted me, accusing me of being with some other guy. And I said I'm not. And they were like, no, I know you are. I watched you leave. And like,
I watched you.
But that's the thing. It's like,
I watched you leave.
I live with this person. That's terrifying. And I want to believe that I'm safe, but you watched me leave. So I sent a picture of me with my tampons in Walmart.
Which you didn't have to do.
Right. I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
I would have just been like,
I would have taken a picture with someone at Walmart. I thought
Random hobo. I'm with my boyfriend. What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell?
But no, but exactly.
Me, my advice, like, and I'll say this just from experience.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
If a guy is interested in you, like you guys were friends, and he's interested in you, and he shows that interest, or
don't be
confesses that, and you shut him down, cut.
You gotta cut it. You gotta cut
the friendship,
because him being around you isn't gonna make those feelings go away.
I mean, if you care so much about this person that you want to keep them in your life, you can cut them off and revisit in a few years.
Right.
When that feeling is gone, but
Where
because that feeling has already seeded, they're gonna keep trying.
They're gonna keep trying.
What about like friendships where you've been friends with a person for like, I don't know, childhood, and then they develop feelings all of a sudden?
Yeah, if you're not interested.
Yeah, if you're not interested, I'd cut it off.
Because that's even more weight and baggage to the feelings.
Because let's say you're with somebody else.
Don't attack me like that. Listen. This is 100% the right stuff to be telling people. The only reason I got with Ryan is because that man could not cut me off.
Well, understand though, you are the exception to the rule.
Yeah,
the majority of male and female friends, the man is interested in the woman, even though the woman sees it as a friendship. Because what you always hear the woman say is, "Oh my God, he's such a good friend. He's always there for me. He's like a brother. He's there when I need him. He picks up the phone." No, he's waiting for whoever you're with to fuck up.
Right.
And then he's gonna be like, "All right, yeah."
And I don't know if this is different, like from a female perspective. I haven't met too many girls that were in my position where I was the childhood friend. I was the girl that like his girlfriends did not want him around.
Yeah.
And you're the reason why girls don't want their boyfriends having friends.
But here's
the beginning.
No, listen, 100%.
Genesis.
I had that man on lock years ago, and he just honestly he knew it all along and just ran from it, and he's made that clear. But I barely saw him when he was seeing other people. I barely saw him. We went to separate schools. We didn't hang out.
We had time apart.
I didn't ask to hang out.
Right.
I thought we could text, and I would never break that boundary knowing he was with somebody. But I also understand that if I was in that position, I wouldn't want that. So when there were times where he would say, like, I can't talk to you anymore, it hurt. It hurt bad, but I let it go. And there were multiple times where he would break up with that person, we would talk again, go back and forth.
You were respectful.
I think that's the thing is, from what I'm hearing from you is like, guys just wait. They just wait in the shadows.
I promise.
And they pounce every second.
I promise.
Batman style.
Give them the opportunity.
Like when I went into college, my freshman year of college, I knew at the time that Ryan was single. I was single. And I was interested, but I wasn't pushing it. I didn't ask to see him. I didn't text him. I just told him I was coming to the school. Like, hey, just a heads up, I'm going to be moving to the school. You know, maybe we could hang out sometime. No pressure. He called me a month into school and he said, hey, I want to put all of the baggage from when we were kids behind us. I don't want to I don't want to hate you. I don't want you to hate me. I said, I fully understand that. And I asked him in that phone call, do you ever think we'll be together? Because he knew I had feelings. I said, do you ever think we'll be together again? And he said, I don't want to say no, but I don't want to give you false hope. So I'm going to say no, but that doesn't mean I don't love you.
Right.
And that was heartbreaking. That is so hard to hear when you've loved somebody from the time you were 14.
That's something you don't want to hear.
When you're 19.
Toxic.
That's the thing. I said, okay, and I moved on. I loved him every single day leading of my college career. I loved him every single day. I met other people. I loved those people.
But you'll never love them like you love them. But I never loved him the way I loved him. Gotcha.
I never loved other people the way I loved him. And I never crossed a line. He never crossed a line. I always let it be what it was. And then when he did let me know that he had those feelings for me and he was seeing somebody, I told him, you need to cut this off because they don't deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
You are in love with somebody else, or you have feelings for somebody else. Nobody deserves to be in a relationship where they have those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But most importantly, I said, we cannot be together. I said selfishly because I don't know if you'll feel the same way you'll feel about me in a month.
Right.
And also because it's not right. You're leaving her for me. In
Yeah.
a way, it's not cheating, but it's shady.
And you don't even know if it's gonna work out too.
Yeah. So we waited a year, and it wasn't a year of, okay, wait until everybody appreciates it. It was a year of, do you still feel this way? I'm growing on my own. I'm seeing other people. Are we still comfortable with what we're doing? I'm not saying I'm perfect. And like I said, in college I did things that I don't love myself for. But
That's why it's called college.
yeah, but I think like the reason I'm an exception to the rule is because I tried to do everything the right way. I tried to do it the way that if I was the other girl, if I was the girlfriend, I would not necessarily appreciate, but I couldn't look at it and say, this is where she screwed me over. You're never going to like the guy's best friend, but I respected when he needed his space and when he needed to work on his relationship and stuff like that.
That's facts.
But other than that,
That's facts.
don't look at me.
I
I didn't do nothing.
So in conclusion, men and women cannot be friends.
Cannot be friends.
Cannot.
Unfortunately.
Some people believe that, but I don't.
I also think, like, when you are with the person that you're meant to be with, they become, like,
Your best
They're
friend.
all you
Of
know.
course, yeah, that's
Yeah.
all. Like I
And,
said,
like,
that's an exception.
People say, like, yeah, you should socialize. You should have friends. Yeah, I've been wanting to go to a Halloween party for years. I want to go to a house party and dress up as a couple and just get drunk and have a good time. I want that. But I don't have, like, a best friend that I'm like, oh, let's go to the beach. Let's go to the mall. I'll go with Jay. I'll go with
Right.
I've been waiting for this one.
My time has come.
The second coming.
I have a best friend in Ireland that I make the joke with Ryan all the time. Like, she's basically my second soulmate. I would marry her to keep her here. 100%. I'll say that on the
That
law.
one tear.
Because I truly love her. I
Or
truly
is it
care
sister
about her.
wives or something?
Sure. I don't care.
If Ryan will accept it.
I don't love anyone that much.
Listen,
What's mine is mine.
I
I don't
adore
like
her.
sharing.
And I know that Ryan's not her type. And I've told Ryan, like, if I have to marry her one day for any reason, I'll do it.
That
If you
green
haven't
card.
married, if
The
you haven't
eyes.
married me,
I'll do it.
I was
I'll
like,
do it.
if you haven't married me by then, I'll marry her. And he goes, I know. And I'm like, okay, like, as long as this is established. And, you know, you can sit there and go, oh, they're just getting married for the green card. The law's going to find out. I truly love this person. You're not going to tell me I can't get married to her if I truly love her. I can't. I don't have to have sex with her for me to.
Yeah, that's
So-
facts.
That's true.
That's true.
That's the thing is, I love
That's
her.
true.
That's my, like, that's my bestie all the way in Ireland. I got my second bestie here. I love him. I
Ride or
barely hang
die.
out with her.
I have a
love
friend,
texting her.
guys.
I'll hang out with her. I'll hang out with Jeff. I'll go hang out with Matt. I don't care.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't love leaving my house because I have my best friend there.
Amen.
I have my best friend. I have my dog. I have food. I don't have to wear pants. Like,
I hate to drive.
Yeah.
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 Sorry about that, guys.
No, it's okay. I love to
Really
cool
putting
1
us
hour
out
drive.
here.
Right.
This might be the last time we see Julie.
Not even for the Christmas
Hell no.
episode?
Do not commit us to an episode now.
Yeah, not on.
You already had so much pressure on us when we were standing around.
Right.
And
You know how many times I name drop them on all our episodes?
yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna the Halloween special. We're gonna have
I feel
Julianna
like this
and
isn't
Brooke.
even really Halloween. This is.
Well, we
just
talked about
talking
serial-
trauma.
Well, we talk about serial killers. Well,
Listen,
Isn't trauma
I went
terrifying?
into trauma.
Isn't that terrifying?
the real horror?
Yeah, the horrors of
Real life.
society,
Listen,
real
if
life.
you want to talk about why nobody's scared of scary movies anymore,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
well, we can
He
talk
didn't
about the
text me
classics.
back.
Hell no. What's
listen, I just recently watched the new Hellraiser. I've never seen the Hellraiser.
Pokey
Yeah,
head?
yeah,
Yeah.
Pinhead.
Pinhead.
When I was
Pokey head.
younger, they had, I think Hellraiser 3 or Hellraiser 4 came out.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch it.
Wait, there's more?
There's 9 or there's 10.
Hellraiser's old, just like he's like the classics. Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
have the movie.
They
when
just
like
didn't know when to
Hellraiser,
stop.
no. Dude,
Like Fast and
Halloween
Family.
needs to stop.
No, this is
Agreed.
it. This
Halloween's got
Next thing you know,
stop.
Honestly,
Halloween
I
Final
liked-
2.
I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but come on, guys.
I thought she died in H2O. How did she come back?
She didn't actually die.
It's a movie.
At the end of the movie, it's actually Jamie Lee Curtis in the Mike Myers mask.
Get the fuck out! Are you serious?
I gotta
No, I
rewatch that.
haven't watched it.
She's Michael. Oh,
I haven't watched
you're
it.
bullshitting.
I was saying, like, if
man.
she survived, and she shouldn't have, and Mike Myers survived all the time.
she's been. Oh,
She's
that's
got
Michael
crazy.
Myers should have croaked by now.
I would have loved at
Yeah,
the
he
end of it
should've.
for Mike Myers to just be like, "Yeah, baby."
Yeah.
But no.
Is it the same thing where he was like they did some hex resurrection shit on him like Jason?
I have no idea. I think
I
he's
haven't
literally
watched
just been
them.
a human being.
The whole.
I think he's
fucking
lit.
time.
He's just stupid strong.
I don't know, man.
He's like 80 years old.
They've shot
Yeah.
that motherfucker. They stabbed
They
him,
burned him
burned
alive.
him, set him on fire.
Did they drown him?
No.
They drowned Jason.
Jason, yeah.
Jason.
Also,
man.
Freddy vs. Jason should not have been as good as it was.
Oh, that was pretty fucking.
That
It
was
should
dope.
not have been
That
as
was
good as
pretty
it was.
fucking
When they
solid.
said Freddy vs. Jason came out, I was like, man's cap. And then it came out, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, no. Freddy versus Jason.
I thought
was
he
pretty
really
fucking
killed
solid.
Jason. And then he's like coming out the water. I was like, ooh, that's my man.
Different.
That's my baby daddy.
No, what was that one movie? Pumpkinhead. Have you ever seen?
Oh, like Sam and stuff like that?
Yes.
I have not seen the movie. I enjoy the like culture around Sam. By the way, you know how they have Pumpkin Jack for Halloween Horror Nights?
Yeah.
I know the guy who does that.
So you think he's gonna let you get in?
No. I've gone to Halloween Horror Nights a couple times, but I know a guy who basically like runs that. He like was a part of my dance group thing.
Oh,
He was like
wow.
the creator of it. He didn't remember my name this last time I saw him. It was great. I've known this guy for 3 years, but he has like a bunch of guys that he like hires to like work for Universal. I know that guy who knows that guy, and that guy, the second guy.
Who knew that guy?
I know a guy. I know a guy.
Cousin.
I know a
I'm just not
guy.
saying-
Sister's brother's cousin's
Yeah.
mother.
But so a guy that taught us hires people from Universal to also teach us. They've also just done this group that I was a part of. The guy that taught us like our visuals, he knows the guy that does Pumpkin Jack, and like I got to hear his voice and stuff like that.
Oh,
There's
cool
been
beans.
he does have a stand-in because the guy's getting older, so like the stand-in kind
Aw.
of sounds similar, but yeah, pretty cool.
That's dope.
So Hellraiser. I was terrified of Hellraiser growing up because I mean it's Pinhead and stuff.
Same here.
I was a child. I didn't want to watch it.
Solve the puzzle or go to hell.
Yeah, basically. Well,
Oh, yeah.
so I watched the new Pinraiser, which has like almost like a fashion-forward, feminine like Pinhead because they're called Cenobites. They're basically like the devil's demons.
Okay.
They have like a very fashion-forward, feminine thing to them. Most people don't like gender bending, like Ghostbusters and stuff. I really enjoyed it. I thought it looked really cool.
Ghostbusters, the new one.
Yeah, like I'm talking about how they do that gender bending where they'll like
Change
switch a
it.
dude to a girl.
Hmm.
I thought it looked really nice, but I watched it and I was like, I don't understand what the lore is. So I went and watched a 45-minute breakdown of what exactly is Hellraiser, and basically it's the idea that like there's a puzzle, like a little puzzle box, and as you open it, there's like different stages to it that lead to like different punishments / different powers, like resurrection, power, sensation, stuff like that. But when you open it, you can get cut, and the Cenobites show up, and they demand like a sacrifice, somebody that they're gonna take, and they torture them because they come from a world where their god basically is the god of pain and pleasure, and they've experimented with the idea of pain and pleasure to the point where they have like very they just have torturous methods, and like that's why like in some movies like people that are into BDSM get kind of into it. But the thing that makes it so kind of like creepy is it's very body horror, like a lot of like spikes into the chest and then pulling them back, ripping skin up, stuff like that. But it's really cool. They've got like Pinhead and stuff, and you can become, if you solve the puzzle towards the end, you can ask their god for something, but it's not always what it seems, basically. So like
okay.
in this last movie, a guy asked for sensation, and they put this like metal contraption in him that spins, and it is constantly moving his nerves in his body, so he's constantly in pain. And he tries to like get them to take it back, and they say we only do exchanges. So he says he wants power, so they turn him into a Cenobite. They turn him into a demon. So yeah.
Oh my god! Wait, isn't that pretty dope though? Cause
The
like,
thing is like you do the devil's bidding, so you would think like, oh, it's kind of
oh
dope or
right,
whatever.
right.
But you're no longer who you are. Like you are like a demon. They like peel your skin back and make you look all body horror too. And then on top of that, like they don't have rules when it comes to the box, like for the sacrifice in this last movie. Not to ruin it, if anybody was gonna watch it,
I'll watch
skip
it anyway.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Skip ahead if you were gonna watch it. Don't want spoilers. But there's a part where the girl like stabs a Cenobite with the box, and they have to kill themselves because
Holy
there's no
shit.
rule about who the sacrifice is. It just has to be a sacrifice. So he like steps back, and Pinhead has like these like chains that like lock into you. They lock into him and they pull him apart.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always does that.
Is it like super gory?
Yeah.
A bit.
You know, what is it called? The Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay,
Okay, hold on,
Dead.
man.
hold on. As a kid, I'd be watching like Family Guy, and that commercial would come on. That little bitch would like climb up under him, like.
Oh,
First time I saw that, my whole body went hot. It scared the shit out of me. Have I watched it? No. Will I ever watch it? No.
Oh, you gotta watch
I've
it.
never
You
seen
gotta
any of
watch
the
it.
exorcisms, and I never will.
you know it's a
You
great
should.
movie.
You should.
Great movie, but you
Never
have
will.
to have a bit of like nerdish knowledge behind it. Is Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, Cabin in the that was awesome.
Do you know about SCP Foundation?
Nope.
Okay. It's basically an online foundation that came from a group of games called SCP, and it's secure containment protection or something like that. Somebody will end up telling us. But basically, it's the idea that there's like abnormalities in our world, that you have 3 different levels that you have to contain. There's like the most dangerous all the way down to like the easiest. And then the second level is like things that are not necessarily bad, but cause reactions if used. So for example, there's like these masks where if you put the mask on, it looks like a drama mask, but when you put it on, it'll make you go crazy. Or there's like teddy bears that can, if they get their hands on anything, any type of like thing, like if they grab your ear, they'll make a teddy bear of ears. They'll just create one. So they basically, it's an online forum now. It was video games, but it's become an online forum where people will just write. They'll just write about anything, and they're all called like SCP-001 or SCP-735B, stuff like that. And they're related to each other. With that being said, Cabin in the Woods is a horror movie that you originally think is playing on the concept of Evil Dead, but you know how at the end of that movie they go into the basement? And there's all those containers?
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to be SCP. That's supposed to be the Foundation, which is supposed to be like basically the Illuminati, but they're containing all of these, and they're using the cabin as a sacrifice to try to get to the old gods.
Right.
That's the idea. And there was supposed to be a whole thing about it, and they didn't do it, but it's amazing.
I liked it because they played on the whole tropes of like
Everything.
Old
Let's
Yeah.
separate.
What was the movie with Jennifer Lawrence? Is that The House Next Door? I thought
Uh,
that one was The Cabin in the Woods.
I mean, it's not Cabin in the Woods. It's the house on
Down
the
the
down the street on the left. Last house on the left. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For a second, I thought you were talking about Mother, which I heard like fucked her
Mother
up.
fuck me up.
Did you watch it?
Do you know? I didn't see all of it, but I know what it's about. Like I get that it's supposed to be like an allegory for the for Mary, Mother of God.
Guillermo del Toro's a fucking
That was
amazing
awesome.
director.
Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
Mother was the
I
one with
watched
the
the
2
one
feral
part
kids, right?
where she said it
No.
really messed her up.
No, there's
That's Mama.
Mama.
That's Mama.
So Mama's the 2 kids that are feral. Then there's like another one that's like Mother or whatever, and it's the mom that has the bandages on her face. Then there's this one, which is Mother, or it's like Oh Mother, but I'm pretty sure it's Mother. And she's basically, she like marries this guy, she gets pregnant, and there's like a whole cult and shit that are like trying to get her baby, and like they get her baby right after she gives birth, and the whole 9 yards, and it's all supposed to be Guillermo del Toro's version of the Mother Mary and like the cult of Christianity.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's good. He's one of the best directors I've
And,
ever heard.
Make you look at things differently.
I also want to see Uma. So have you ever seen Grey's Anatomy?
No.
I think it's Christina something. I can't think of her name, but there's a actress that was like one of the main actors in Grey's Anatomy, who's like spread out. She does a movie called Uma, which is was it Japanese?
Yeah.
Mother? Japanese for mother. And it's this idea that like her mother has very like strict rules for her in terms of like her Japanese house style or whatever. And it turns out I think like it's because her mom's like, or it's because her and her mom are either like vampires or they're some creature or something like. I think they're foxes because you know how like there's the fox. It's like the seven tails or something. Like
Nine tails.
Nine-tailed fox.
Yeah.
I think that's what they are. I haven't seen it yet, but I think that's what they are, and it's also like a horror story. And I'm interested to see that.
Ooh.
Is that out yet?
Yes.
All right.
I think it's on Netflix.
Netflix?
Or HBO.
Probably catch
Or
You know, a movie really fucked me up.
What?
Lights Out.
that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
The thing what I don't okay.
It started off as an internet.
Lights Out did not scare me.
Oh, it scared me.
Lights Out scared me because of the turkey baster scene. Or no, that's not Lights Out. That's Don't Breathe.
That's Don't
That's
Breathe.
Don't Breathe.
Yeah.
Don't Breathe didn't scare me.
I know Don't
because
Breathe.
of
I
the
don't think I
turkey baster
watched.
scene.
Oh, the
Because
turkey baster was fucked up.
my brain immediately went, that's gonna happen to me. Like that's gonna happen.
Oh my god.
Listen, I don't. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one that needs therapy. I'm pretty sure I am. I walk through every single day thinking I'm gonna die today. Like somebody's going to kill me. So I'm constantly
And turkey
looking out.
based me.
I'm constantly looking out for it. I was like, somebody could kidnap me, and instead of like raping me, they're gonna turkey baste me, and I'm gonna have their child. And I don't know which one's worse.
What was that one movie? I think it's like Megan's Missing or something like that.
Oh my god. Ooh.
The last scene.
The found footage.
The found footage.
Have you seen it?
Megan's
Fuck,
Missing.
Megan's
Yeah.
Missing.
Yes.
It's a movie. It's found footage that you have to like go look up. It's not on anywhere.
Mhm.
And it's
It
found
used to be
footage
on
of a
Netflix.
girl who goes missing.
Okay.
And she's kind of like a partier or something like that. She goes missing. This other girl's looking for her, and at the last scene, gonna ruin it for you, she finds her in a barrel.
Well, she gets taken.
She gets
Yeah,
taken
she's
by
taken.
the same guy.
Yeah.
Finds her in a barrel, and they show her body. They show her in the barrel. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
Really?
She's in the barrel with
You
her
can see
best
her
friend that
eyes
went
are, like,
missing.
yeah. They
glazed
shove her in the
over.
barrel. So he opens it. She sees her best friend. She's like decomposing because it's like a week. He puts her in the barrel, and then
With
he like
her.
and he throws her on the side of the road or something.
And that's it. So she's gonna die in that barrel too.
I don't remember if she does. I don't think she
I
does.
don't even remember
I don't know.
seeing it that far. I just remember seeing...
I think that's how it ended.
I know she ends up on the side of the road near like a bunch of like trees and stuff like that. I think she might die there.
Yeah.
She maybe got out, but all I remember is like that happened, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm scarred.
Yeah. I watched that at like a young age too.
Whoa.
So when would you guys say scary movies stop being scary?
They're still scary today. I don't fucking watch that shit.
Really? Really? Really?
Yeah, I don't need that
I laugh
bad
at
juju.
I laugh at half of them
I think like
because they're so predictable.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, they're predictable, but it's like...
I think they've
I
been
don't want
predictable for a
nightmares.
while though.
Mm-hmm.
I think like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like every generation of adults goes through the same spiel of like, oh, it's predictable.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only difference specifically with ours is like technology slowed down a bit compared to us.
Yeah.
And we're so used to like just catching it right away.
Right.
So, like,
Hyper-realism.
In
just
90s,
kinda-
in the 90s and the 2000s, like VFX shot up. So to them, even if it's not scary, like Poltergeist might not have been scary to them once you were like in the 2000s, but then you go and watch like some of these other horror movies that have really like changed
Yeah,
the
they've
game.
gone nuts,
They're gonna
yeah.
be terrified.
Oh fuck yeah.
Any James Wan
if we took
Yeah.
any film, The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Fuck, that movie scared me.
What-
Oh my God,
was the-
Brian hated that movie.
Wait, The Conjuring was the no.
The Conjuring's the one with the boy who has cancer. It's based off of a true story, by the way.
All of them
He has, so the first one is about a boy who has cancer, so they move to another house that's closer to the hospital. And he starts hearing voices, and he lives in the basement where it was a morgue basically.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But
starts
they
living
didn't
in
tell
the
him that
basement.
though.
He knew it was like a morgue because there was like the tables and stuff.
Oh,
But they
okay.
didn't say, they just said it used to be a morgue, that's all. So he starts hearing voices, he starts seeing visions. In the original story, I'm pretty sure he rapes his cousin. But basically he starts to be like possessed. At the end of that movie, the mom breaks like the whole thing catches fire. The kid kicks all the family out, and the kid starts breaking the walls, and dead bodies are coming out of the walls that the mortician had been like either killing people or
And
hiding
burying
the
them there.
bodies, and he was burying
Back
them.
to serial killers.
That's
God
nuts.
damn.
No, you know, it was we watched in theaters, and like it shocked me in the beginning, but I think the suspense carried it through.
Sinister was great.
Yeah,
It was great.
Like especially with the when
Fuck
they
that.
when
Nope.
they found the cassette tapes in the attic. Didn't matter what house they moved into. Every house they moved into was
As soon as
Yeah.
you access the
That bitch
cassettes,
was
that
like
was
an
it.
STD.
Yeah.
Oh my
Couldn't get
gosh.
rid of it.
You couldn't
Even when
get
you
rid of
burned
it.
it came back.
What was it? The family barbecue, mowing the lawn,
The swimming at the
Swimming
pool.
pool.
swimming pool.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
And at the end, he'd take all the kids.
What was
and
it
use the kids to-
sleepover? Oh man, that was
So-
terrifying because it combined like found footage
Yeah.
with like
Insidious.
But that's the thing. I think it was, again, it's a new concept we hadn't seen.
Right.
We had seen found footage. We had seen like the whole stalker, horror, paranormal thing, and they put
Yeah,
the two
Paranormal
together.
Activity 1 through 20.
Where you're like, I don't know. And that's the thing. I think Paranormal Activity was scary because it was
Okay,
the first
hold on.
time we genuinely saw
Saw
found
that.
footage.
Paranormal Activity 3. That I laughed all the way through.
Yeah. Was that the one where it was
and
like
two,
a witch?
1 and 2 were good.
No,
but then they
okay,
just started
so-
getting ridiculous.
3. Did it scare me at the age that I was watching it at? Yes. But I rewatched it so many times so then it wasn't scary. So then I'd have like my other friends come over who are like 11, 12, watch it with me, and I'd be like, watch this shit's funny. She gets her hair yanked. If it happened to me, kill me now. Kill me now.
Fuck
I will
that.
not be okay after this.
Fuck that.
Okay, another, and like real quick, I think what does make scary movies scary nowadays is psychological thriller, because I think, and I'm not trying to trauma dump here, but I think the majority of the generations are so fucked up.
yeah,
And, like,
Yeah, we're
traumatic.
scary to
Yeah.
it's more scary
And-
to relive our past than
Yeah,
see
and I
some
think-
stupid shit on the
See some
TV.
shit.
I
Yeah.
think because
Triggers.
we've gone through so much that like we don't find like a crazy stalker killer coming after you that scary, especially because it's harder to become a serial killer nowadays
Yeah.
because surveillance is so tight. With that
Yeah.
being said, I think psychological thrillers get to you because you don't know and you feel helpless, which is something that
Yeah.
scary movies don't make you feel. Having somebody chase you is not scary because you know you can call the police on your cell phone,
Right.
or somebody's going to see it on camera, so they're not going to chase you out into the public.
Yeah, that's true.
Being like, I was terrified at like 12 or whatever age I was at when Dark Skies came out.
Oh, no,
Dark Sky.
No.
When
I got
Dark
it.
Sky, first of
Dark
all,
Sky was different.
Okay.
you
So-
weren't expecting horror. You were expecting aliens,
Mhm.
which is very much like Signs, but it brought Signs to a whole,
Whole
new
new
light.
level, yeah.
So,
That
Yeah.
kid outside with his mouth agape, I was like, nope.
as
That
a
was
child,
crazy.
that was my biggest fucking fear was aliens. And my brother had this big alien thing in his room. I would never go in there. And then, do you know Scary Movie? I think it was 3 or 4. Whenever the aliens come on the screen, and
Yeah.
I'd
From
be
War of the
crying,
Worlds.
I'd be crying my eyes out, and then the president would hit him, and then he would drop 40s on their chest and say, "Send flowers to their bitches and hoes," and I would just start laughing, and my tears would go away. Dark Skies. First time I was watching it, I was
Oh,
probably
man.
like 12 or 13, and I was watching it in the room, and I made sure I watched it during the day because I know I don't fuck
No,
with
Dark
that
Oh,
shit.
I watched it
Skies.
at night and I had to turn on every light.
Dark Sky is
So
different.
whenever I was watching it, it gets to the scene where you finally see him. My brother, boom, busts through the fucking door. I was like,
Oh, fuck. Turn the TV. I'm done
We're
for
done
the
for
night.
today.
Yep,
Have a
we're
seizure.
fucking done.
I think
We're
it
done.
was so early to suspense, not necessarily suspense, but to psychological terror.
Yeah.
And this idea that like we were young at that age, we
Yeah.
were that kid's age, and like nobody was helping him, nobody knew what was going on, and then the fact that like it didn't end, like Halloween movies for the most part end somewhat okay. Of course, like Mike
Couple
Myers
people
comes
die.
back, couple people die, but the main girl makes it. The main
That's
kid in
right.
this did not come
He
back.
didn't come back.
You hear him on the
Ah,
radio,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's it. And the fact that like these were a different kind of aliens,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like we've seen the Greys, we've seen the green people, we've seen all of that, but the
Yeah.
fact that these were like what your nightmares are made of. They were in the shadows.
They were in the shadows.
Finding this kid, and I've told him this. Please, nobody find my house. I'm terrified of people looking into my windows, and that's a trauma issue because
Matt
it's happened
waiting for
to
you
me.
to come to work.
No,
Hey.
like for me, like I hate any cracks in the curtains.
No, and I've
Yeah,
had
I hate
somebody
any
like
shit like
I,
that.
I was, again, I know I sound like I'm making this shit up. I was taking a shower once, and somebody was filming me from outside, and it was those frosted glasses.
Holy
So
shit.
I banged on the window because that's the only thing I could think to do, and they ran. And I never found them. I don't know if my body's
Who it
posted up
was.
somewhere. No idea. I was at a friend's house showering. I wasn't supposed to be. Like,
Wow.
I was not there all the time. I didn't always use that shower. I just happened to be there that weekend. And I remember that friend's dad came in, like, right after, and he was like, oh, like, why was it, like, is everybody okay? Like, he immediately started asking, and he asked me, and I was like, yeah, because I didn't feel comfortable saying no. I was like, why? And he goes, well, I just saw somebody, like, running across the lawn,
Sounds
so I
sus
didn't
to me.
know.
Sounds sus to me. Sounds sus to me.
No, I can feel comfortable saying it was not the dad, because I could see the kid. Like, I saw that it was, like, a teen
I love
boy
youngins.
with an iPhone, and I, to this day, cannot handle looking outside a window at night. I can't handle driving home at night. Like, I can do it pretty okay, but, like, unfortunately, I've had homeless people, like, bang on my window in Orlando while I'm driving home because they want my attention. Like, that's terrifying. So I don't
No, it's the same for
I don't
me.
fuck with that.
Yeah.
So
It's the same for me.
seeing, like, dark skies where, like, you just see this kid in the middle of the night, like, if I have kids and my kid is standing outside in the middle of the night, he's gonna stand there. I'm gonna lock that door. I'm going to bed. That's
911.
nature, baby. Listen,
Hell no.
my job as a parent is to sort of keep you alive.
Yeah,
Sorta.
that's like one of my, like, that feeling, that uncanny feeling that I always have,
Uncanny
just
Valley.
being watched. Just being watched. Like, I hate that
I
feeling.
hate that you can induce it on yourself.
Yeah, you can.
Like,
Absolutely.
What's the name of that, the movie with the tooth fairy?
Oh, Darkness Falls.
oh, I was gonna say, was it called Tooth Fairy?
No,
Yeah.
it's Darkness Falls.
Darkness Falls. She can only...
So she was a dentist.
That fucked me up. Hold on. Let's just say this. I could not, like,
He couldn't sleep with the light
Are
on.
you
Yeah.
are you just glad, like, you have all your teeth now?
Oh, man. I was so happy. I was so happy growing up because I rarely lost, like, a lot of teeth growing up. My adult teeth just kind of grew in. But after I saw that movie, I remember one time the lights in the restroom went out and we had never, like, replaced it. I was like, nope, I'm not showering for a week.
Listen, I know.
I'm not showering for a
like,
week.
listen,
Fuck
I
that.
know that, like, Bloody Mary is, like, not real.
I'm
won't,
not gonna
I
fucking
wouldn't
do
put
it.
it
I
past.
I
Yeah.
won't read anything about it. I won't watch movies about
Nope.
it.
Nope.
I won't do short stories. I won't
Nope.
do short clips.
But
anything.
you played the game,
No, I never did. I
Nope.
refused to play it.
No.
The Wolf Among Us.
I never played.
Oh, yeah, I played.
I never
Among Us,
played-
but like I don't think I chose Bloody Mary. Or if I did, like I was okay with that.
Yeah.
I will never in life play Bloody Mary.
Yeah, I
Never.
would never do that.
That or Candyman.
No.
Never.
Nope.
Nope.
I'll never do Candyman.
Or Ouija
never
board.
do-
If
No.
I see it, I'm
Ouija,
walking
never
out,
do that.
I love
Yeah.
walking the fuck
Ouija
out.
board-esque products like journals. I love witchy-esque stuff because being left-handed, it's like the very white woman thing being like, our witch, you know, like, what is it? Our grandmothers were the witches you burned at the stake. I'm like, no, they were probably the pilgrims, but I'm from Greece, so I can say that, right? I can.
But again, too, they say if you have a mark above your arm or above your knee.
Oh, well, I have one literally on my knee.
Yes. It's
Oh,
where,
yeah.
It's where
I have a
they. It's where they.
birthmark on my
It's
knee.
where they tortured your past self.
Yeah, so I got a birthmark on my knee. I'm
Yeah.
left-handed.
No, that's it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
cut your
for real?
arms
They
off.
cut
You
your
were-
arms off. Yeah, that where it's
Your
at.
ancestors running around limbless. And
Yeah.
shit.
So,
So that,
I
yeah,
like that stuff.
that's
I
the
won't touch a
saying.
Ouija board.
Yeah, that's the saying of it. If you have the mark above your arm or your above your elbow, above your knee, that's where they tortured you.
If you're ever interested in some like creepy internet lore,
Promise you I'm not.
Yeah,
Um,
me either.
look at, and sometimes this happens in real life too, like with abandoned buildings. It's called
Makes it even worse.
liminal spaces.
Oh, I already know.
Ooh.
Oh, you're talking about when you fall into a.
Well,
and
that's
it's
The
the
back-
back,
the
back
back
rooms.
rooms?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
But liminal
You know about this?
spaces.
You know about this?
I don't think I want to. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
So, like, think like old classrooms with like a yellow color, but nobody's there.
With no one there.
Nothing's there.
And the
Think like-
lights are like they
Think
have
like Publix, our Publix, everything's gone.
everything's gone.
You're alone, but you feel like something's in there with you.
Something's in there
No.
with you, and you hear that of like a
lights.
gas station
Oh,
of the
yeah,
lights,
no,
and it's just
no,
like
no, no, no.
just in the back. Oh man, that it just triggers something in me, and it's just like me. I'm interested in like me, like I'm an
That's when I start
adrenaline
praying to
junkie.
God.
Like I love the feeling of being afraid. So like I'll indulge in that, and there's like I'll read into the whole lore, and like I know some people have done like actual videos or found footage of these videos, and
Well, I
it's
can get behind that because I know that it's fake. Or
Right.
Theoretically. I know, like, that was made up. I was here when that was made up.
Mhm.
So I can get behind that. But when it's stuff like, I know Bloody Mary's not real.
Right.
I was not here when it was made.
No.
So,
I don't know the lore behind it. Right, most children's games like Ring Around the Rosies. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
That was for what? Smallpox?
That was the
or
plague,
something?
yeah.
The plague, yeah.
The Black
you know,
Death.
that the Black Death became a children's game.
Yeah.
I wasn't there when it was made.
London Bridges.
London
It's about the
Bridges.
London Bridge collapse.
The London Bridge.
Oh yeah,
collapse.
all these
what I'm saying?
they're horrible.
I'm not gonna partake in some shit I wasn't here for when it was created. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to summon any demons and shit.
How about the itsy bitsy spider?
I feel like that was a real thing too. Probably.
It was probably a real thing. So what would you guys? All right. So are we hitting the?
We're almost at 2.
We're almost at 2. Okay. So to end it, what would you guys say your scariest or best movies that you've ever liked?
Or we could do what's your biggest
Liked.
fear.
What's your biggest fear?
Shit, that's
I
a little
told
too
you
deep.
No, okay, not in terms of real life, like actual. I mean, like,
If it were from a movie to
from
come
a
to
movie,
real
yeah.
life.
Like, what would be your?
Yeah, somebody looking inside my window.
Yeah, that's fucking terrible.
I see those in movies, and I will turn the movie off.
Either aliens or anything paranormal. I don't fuck with either.
Mm.
I like the idea of aliens.
So you can fuck with like zombies.
Oh, boom! Oh, I'm ready for this shit. I
Depends.
played way too much Walking Dead.
Are we talking World War Z zombies?
Oh, no.
Okay,
No.
I am Legend
classic.
zombies.
We're talking,
Fuck that. No. You might as well eat me
Super
now.
soldiers, bro. That shit
yeah.
was crazy.
If we're talking classic zombies, easy.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
sure? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you
I mean,
step
we're all
outside.
gonna die off at some
In your
time.
whole street, because you remember they travel in swarms, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, they're slow, but they travel. I know we've all seen.
If
The
we're
Walking
talking
Dead.
classic zombies, right? You just need a proper barrier to keep them out. You need a proper barrier, and I know
Strength
that
in numbers.
sounds crazy.
Strength in
in numbers, proper barrier. They're not. If we're talking classic zombies, they're not going to attack that barrier. They're just going to stand at that barrier,
Right.
and then you have to kill them to get out and stuff like that. So as long as you've got like a self-sufficient farm, a great watering hole, which is a lot to ask, but if you're in a world with just zombies, you're going to find that eventually.
Right.
So it's not impossible, and because it's not impossible, I don't feel hopeless.
Okay.
I mean, it'll be scary to live life like, dang, I could die today.
I could die today, right?
But I mean, like,
I do
isn't
that
every
already.
day?
But here's the
Yeah.
thing too, with like like the whole car example. You're in a metal tube traveling.
Oh, I think
Like,
I'm talking about
yeah.
sunshine.
But like,
Just me?
I didn't even hear what you said.
Sunshine.
oh, well, is that a fear?
No, she was saying like, wasn't that every day? Okay, now it's weird. Now it's weird.
Explaining yourself.
Yeah. Why do you want to kill yourself?
Oh, you mean suey fuel?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was making the joke because she was like, wasn't that every day? And I was like, yeah. Like, and then you were like, yeah, like a metal car tube. I was like, oh shit.
Oh well, shit. Yeah.
Well, I could get behind the car thing because like just recently getting into a car crash, I am so scared and so defensive that like going like the speed limit can be 55. I'm afraid to do that because even though the car crash that happened was technically my fault, it's not the fault of the person that it happened. It was just such a crazy accident. It wasn't something I was intending to do. I wasn't doing anything dumb. It's so scary because I know that somebody might not mean to do what they're doing, and I'll still die.
And you'll still die. That's facts.
Like watching, like I'll be in the car with Ryan or I'll be in the car with somebody and they're just driving like normal and I'm panicking because to me they're going very quickly. Or like a few days after, I mean, they made fun of the fact that I came into work like a day after the crash. I was fine, but like I had nightmares.
Yeah.
The same day.
The same.
I did come in the same
That's
day,
different. You built different. That's what that is.
Yeah. You built
That's
different.
just different.
Well, again, like my brother puts it,
I always
we're
tell-
just meat.
Yeah, I just tell people, if cars were invisible, you would never drive a car.
Well,
If you see people flying up the road,
I thought he was like, I thought
and
he
it's like, well, shit.
I thought
You know?
he was like, if cars were invisible, I'm like, so if cars didn't exist, you would never drive. I'm like, obviously.
No.
I got you.
Like, or if transportation was invisible, that's terrifying.
Imagine a high-speed train.
Imagine a plane. You just see like 2 rows of people just sitting.
Someone going to the bathroom on a plane. What is
What the
that?
Oh, that'd be so fucking weird. That'd be so fucking weird.
Oh man. But like, go ahead.
No, I was just going to go back to, like, if we're talking horror movie coming to real life, and we're not talking about somebody outside your window at night, or the fact that our real life as women and as black men is getting murdered or going to jail.
Right.
I am such a Debbie Downer.
No, you're good.
With all of that being said, like, if we're talking, mark all of that off, I guess I would say aliens
It's the
Or
unknown.
It's the unknown.
or
You don't know if-
superheroes.
Superheroes. Okay,
Yes.
hold on.
You ever
what?
think about those? So they'll show it sometimes where it's like the superheroes will like completely destroy a city,
Mm-hmm.
trying to save you from the bad guy. And it's
Man
like,
of Steel.
you saved me from the bad guy, but you murdered hundreds of people
Millions.
in the process.
Well, and that's what they don't
Well,
show
I
you.
mean, in the movies, they're like, all
Or,
evacuating.
but that's the thing too is it. But like you don't make it sometimes, or they
Yeah.
just show up, or like the big controversy of the what is it, the Accords,
The who?
the Accords in
Avengers.
Avengers. I keep wanting to say the Paris.
The
Accords, but
Wachovia,
those
the
are-
Wachovia
those are-
Accords.
Okay, the
The
Wachovia Accords.
Wachovia Accords.
I know a lot of people are like, yeah, Captain America was right, and technically in the comics he is right, but I don't disagree.
That they
With-
need to be policed.
I get why Iron Man was following that concept, because it's very easy to go like, okay, well, what if you do have somebody like the Winter Soldier, who is doing what he's doing,
Yeah.
even though Bucky wasn't at fault.
Yeah.
He ended up being at fault a little bit.
Yeah.
He was just murdering people, and he got away with it for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So it's that concept of like a helplessness, and they look like you.
Yeah. Just look at The Boys. If you've ever watched The Boys, that's just prime example. Where it's like, yeah, you have this thin veil of, protection, and the only thing stopping them is their social standing. The
Their
thing that
beliefs.
their beliefs, the
Yeah.
thing that's keeping
We do what they want
what
because they
want.
think it's right.
Right. You see
Or
what I'm
like
saying?
they fuck up and the snap happens and every half the world's gone, and you could say like, oh yeah, but that's because the supervillains are alive. I'm saying no superheroes, no supervillains.
No supervillain.
Like-
Sex. Batman and Joker.
And that's my thing, is kind
Yeah.
of like, you look at and on top of that, like, okay, let's say Captain America's real and he fights Thanos and he wins, but I died in the process. Nobody's gonna give a fuck that I died.
No.
They're gonna be like, and
We
my
won.
family will be like, but my daughter died, and they're gonna be like, yeah, but we beat Thanos,
We
and it's
beat
like,
Thanos.
so you don't have the right to mourn your family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's facts.
It's like
I
even
feel
worse
like
than a killer.
Kind of like war, right?
Yeah, and like I think that's why so many people.
We won, but there were so many
So
people
many
who died.
people.
That's why so many people are against it
Yeah.
as a younger generation, especially when it came to the Vietnam Wars, because or even the Afghanistan. We didn't have to be there. We just chose to be there because politicians said to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a bunch of people died, and they keep enough people in poverty that you have to go.
That's an easy way out.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
go to war, and if you survive, then yeah, sure, you can have free education.
Sheesh.
And that's not worth it.
Hey, what if we were actually living in a real horror story? In this reality, this was all.
Are we talking like who's gonna make it?
Yeah.
Well, like you.
I think I'm going
Well, like you said.
I thought
I'm just gonna be
She just
honest.
bit the bullet. Yeah.
Well, hold on. What are we talking about though?
Well, like you said too, you said everybody's the main character of their own lives. So you might be the main character of yours, I might be the main character of mine, but that doesn't mean, but that doesn't mean that we're all gonna survive. You could be in your mind, I will survive, but everybody else could die. But in my mind, I will survive.
Listen,
and
if we're
everybody else
talking about statistics and this table, I thought you would survive. You got main girl character energy. You got the virgin character energy.
No, definitely.
I feel like I come off as like that. like gray, morally gray character, and then you got two black guys. Black guys never make it to the end,
Never.
unless
Never.
it's
Never.
a black director.
Nope.
Which, by the way,
Never.
Well, not even in Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele's
no.
movies.
Well, what are
Jordan
we talking
Peele.
about us going against?
just like
Anything.
at the end of the horror movie,
Yeah, like into the world.
the KKK.
Yeah, anything. Ooh, like prime example. What's
power.
that one movie where you have 24 hours to kill anybody?
The
Purge.
Purge. I have
You know
all
what I'm saying?
of them,
So
yeah.
even something like that.
People fucking hate me. I'm gone.
Yeah, we're getting 8.
I do think it's really funny. There's a TikTok of a girl who she looks out her apartment and she goes, "Why is like so and so in the street or whatever?" And she goes, "Oh, the purge was today." And she goes, "Well, do we still have time?" And she's like, "Oh, we've got like an hour." And she's like, "Damn." And then like they're like talking about it or whatever. And then she gets killed at the end, and it was kind of funny. It was like very nonchalant, but
Man.
I don't know what I was gonna say. Did you guys know, like, Jordan Peele talked about how Get Out was supposed to end differently. He originally was going to have it, what's his name? Main guy?
Daniel Kaluuya?
No, like the actor, like the character.
Oh, shit.
He has like a big long.
All right, well,
African name.
Homeboy, the main character was supposed to be arrested. That was the plan. That the
That's why he
police
created
lights,
2 alternate endings.
the police lights, his original ending, the police lights were supposed to be the police, and he was going to go to jail, and it was supposed to be a commentary on the fact that like black
Right.
men don't have a chance, and like
Right.
this is the real horror that black people face,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like just some scary movie. However, he showed it to the first audience, and like people were bummed, but I think it was his producer or somebody said like, "Hey, there's a lot of like Black Lives Matter was happening."
Right.
She was like, "There's a lot more voices speaking out about this, and I think black people deserve a hero. They deserve a happy ending because they never get it."
Yeah.
So he changed it, and he had homeboy number 2 from the airport
Yeah.
show up, and that's why he became this like icon.
TSA, motherfucker.
He's like, I told you white people were crazy.
Yeah. And it just became this icon, and that's why, I mean,
Mhm.
I think not only black people, but specifically black people and others really enjoy it because it's like, finally, like, you're not watching the same old movie where the bad boy and then the black guy and then the whore or whatever get killed, and then the
Yeah.
virgin makes it at the end, or the white girl, you know?
Yeah, I feel it.
Described as me.
Right?
Hey.
No, but you'd live though. You'd live 90.
That's
I
the
think.
important
I
part.
think you would live because
Yeah.
I feel like you're willing to take risks that
Mm-hmm.
go against what.
I'd like to believe that, but it would be
Yeah.
like super conceited of me to
I
be
think
like,
it's
out of
gonna
everybody
be-
here, I would live.
You and me are
Yeah.
going first.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then it's gonna be you two at the end, and then
For
all of a
sure.
sudden Brooke gets lucky. He gets bit by a zombie.
I
and
give
that's
him
it.
up.
I'm like, fuck.
She pushes him and starts running.
Yeah, whoever
She's
runs.
like-
him.
It's
She's
not
like-
about. It's not about. What is it? It's not about how good you are. It's about who runs faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Runs fast.
Yeah.
That's facts. But I think the biggest unspoken horror in any type of apocalypse movie, it's not
Sickness.
the zombie
It's God.
or sickness.
Humans.
It's other humans.
Yeah.
The
And
Last of
seeing
Us.
how they.
Yeah.
Other humans, because it's
They
They're the
flip
worst.
switch.
it's a switch up, and it's like I'm fighting for my survival.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I have people I need to take care of, or myself.
I think it's because it's possible, right? Like
Right.
zombies. We have a few scares here and there, but for the most part, nobody believes that's going to happen. Aliens. Most people don't believe in it. The rest of us are like, yeah, they're out there.
Yeah, it's gonna. What was
Humans-
it? The fourth kind.
Yeah. Humans happen. Humans, every single day it
We
happens.
see it,
And
yeah.
the purge is literally just that on a
Yeah.
massive scale.
Yeah.
If you took all the murders, all the rapes, all the crimes that were happening in the world and put it in a town, it's the purge.
Yeah.
That's the purge.
Yeah, of course.
That's facts.
And it's just the fact that there's enough people in the world that we get lucky and we do our best. We can, out of the 4 of us on this table, we can do the best we can to minimize our chances, When you guys get pulled over by a cop, you do absolutely everything to a T. You don't fight.
Mm-hmm.
When we are next to men or we're walking down the sidewalk, we do every single thing we can
It's
to protect
instinct.
ourselves.
Instinct,
But at the end of the day, it does not bring your chances to 0.
No.
So I think that's why
Absolutely not.
humans are so creepy or like scary. Personally,
Yeah,
I think the
yeah.
worst thing in a horror movie is like gods, because like they created you.
Yeah,
So
and they play with you. They play with your life, man.
yeah.
That's scary.
Insignificant speck to everything.
That's scary. All right. So any
Would you guys like to leave off Any words of wisdom with our audiences?
Happy
Or-
Halloween.
Or let anybody know?
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, you really got short.
Hey, yeah,
That-
that's
just-
way
that's
too
just
long.
fucking too long, man.
That's a lot, man. It's too much.
Make
of a
sure when we
pause.
have the Christmas version, it doesn't. We're gonna get the turkey sound for next month.
You gotta do like the Grinch,
it.
like that's it. I'm not going.
That's it. I'm not here.
All
Or you
right.
gotta do the ooh.
Ah.
I've
Right.
been saying that to my sister all the time. She'll be like, "Ooh, look at this," and I'm like, "Ooh,
Ah.
that shit." I'm not
Oh,
going.
man.
Well, if you get Jay back on, you gotta put the coo 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 on there.
Cool, 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 cool.
Oh, that's if she wants to come back on.
I love him.
Oh,
No.
Yeah,
Oh, my
I think
God.
Stay safe for everybody
For
out
sure.
there,
Yeah.
men
Especially
and
this
women.
Halloween.
You guys doing
Yeah.
anything for Halloween, or are you just gonna be
I'm
relaxing with you?
working.
We all working.
Yeah, work, and then I'm off the next day. But
What day is Halloween? Monday?
Monday.
Yeah, I'm working.
Monday.
It's weird. It's
working.
weird. It's on a
But
Monday.
yeah, I think just stay safe, enjoy your Halloween, be a bitch, don't be afraid to.
Yep.
That's fact.
You know,
That's fact.
keep your. My dad always says, keep your head on swivel,
Or
and close your windows at night. Close those windows.
at least put some dark blinds so they can't see.
Yeah, I
through
put
it.
blackout curtains.
Yep,
No,
same.
man.
Yep.
It's great for the
Absolutely.
morning and night.
Yep.
Yeah. That's facts.
Block out that sun so you're not hissing in the morning like a vampire.
All right, brother.
All right.
Take us home.
Thank you guys for joining us at the tabletop. If you want to catch us on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And if you want to catch our delicious ugly mugs on Mondays and Fridays, you keep smiling. Let me finish this.
It's just delicious and ugly, you know? Go ahead. Man.
You can catch us on YouTube on Tabletop Topics, one word. And we also have our clips channel, so you can watch short versions. He knows that we're leaving. That's why he's doing that. So you can catch us on TikTok.
Kisses for
Ladies,
everyone,
man.
huh? Wow. He always acts different.
Oh, my
Every time
God.
the ladies go.
Every time.
He acts different.
Every time. Bruce.
Talking about sister wives.
He's like, I'll marry you guys. You can catch our clips on TikTok and also our Triple T's Clips channel, where we have short versions of it just in case you don't want to watch the whole thing. But I appreciate our returning guests and our new special guest for joining us today.
Julie, bro.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And hopefully we might see her next time if you can make the journey of a
Drive.
lifetime.
Well, it's a drive. No, I know it's a drive.
Right? But you guys have a good night, day, weekend, and or evening.
Happy Halloween.
Happy
Happy
Halloween. Thank you.
Halloween.
Nope.